Podcast League Now. Starring the Casablanca Kid. He turns good taste into bad. Movie hero. He has a stutter, but he's smooth like butter. And Pez, with the ability to Pez.
And welcome back to the Movie Hero Network, ladies and gentlemen. And this is Podcast League Now. It is back as we are getting into the recap series of Podcast League Now. And we are kicking it off tonight with our worst movies of 2024. This will be the kickoff show because next week we'll hit the honorable mention show and then we will do our actual top 12. But tonight is the bottom 12. We are starting stinky and we are moving our way up. It's a whole series of fun stuff we've got planned here on the Movie Hero Network to recap 2024. But I've got some friends of mine. I am not alone here tonight who also watch a lot of movies and also don't mind watching those bad movies. We watch them so you don't have to. JPO, you watch a lot of bad movies. How's it going, buddy?
Yeah. Starting stinky, so of course I'm here. Let's talk about that stink, yo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, we're gonna get into it. Another guy who watches a whole bunch of movies, so I'm sure there's some bad ones in there somewhere. Michael Wolfman, Wyndham, how's it going, Wolf?
Yeah, to try to get into the triple digits, I always have to try and watch some really shitty movies with the really good movies. And I'm like, especially towards the beginning of the year, I'm just trying to fill in my list, and it's one of those things where I'm just like, I gotta find a way to fill in my list by watching these awful movies early in the year, and then later in the year is when I watch all the good stuff. So,
yeah, I watch them all throughout the year because I'm festive like that. Richie Goodacre, you watch a lot of stuff and you don't shy away from a bad movie or two. How's it going, sir?
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me that well. It might be choppy for a bit before it starts.
You're better than you were earlier pre-show, so I think you're good now. I think we're cool.
All right, cool. You guys are a bit kind of choppy, so it might be. But okay. we'll
I'm gonna go back at us. God,
I know. Always blaming somebody else.
Jeez.
It'll fix itself soon. So. But yeah, no, all good. But no, I'm looking forward to talking about bad films. Like I'm always down.
Yeah, definitely. So how it's going to work, it's going to be very similar to when we do our top 12. Just going to be kind of a round table. We'll go around the horn, and everybody will rattle off one at a time, starting with number 12. Obviously, if it is higher on the list, or in this case of the worst of the list, lower on somebody else's list, simply punt it. Just say punt. We'll punt it till later, and when it gets to its lowest spot on anybody's list, we will then kind of go around, and the people that had on our list.
I always got to ask, what's the buffer?
Two or more spots higher. 2 or more spots. Okay. So if somebody's got it at 12, you got it at 11. We can talk about it then as well. So we can just go ahead and roll with that, and we'll just go. So 2 or more spots higher will negate a punt. And I'll have a little ticker for everybody down here on the bottom. But we'll go on the horn first and give me a couple of those honorable mentions. Just maybe 5 or 6, whatever you got, just outside your worst 12. There, we'll start there. JPO, you got a couple of honorable mentions for me that just got nudged out of the 12 here.
The directorial debut of Chris Pine, Pool Man, wants to be kind of Lebowski-esque, but it's mostly just meh. 5 Pounds of Pressure with Luke Evans. There you go. Had to remember. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, but in the first, still not a big fan of it. In a Violent Nature, love the concept, but goddamn was I bored throughout 70% of it, though. Underdogs with Snoop Doggy Dogg. Just he's a piece of shit that you're also supposed to like. It's just unearned. And yeah, those are my honorables or dishonorables.
Dishonorable mentions. Yes, our dishonorable mentions. Waka waka. Wolfman, you got a couple of dishonorable mentions just outside the 12 there.
Yeah, I do. So a couple of the dishonorable mentions I want to mention is Atlas, which is a really dumb Jennifer Lopez like sci-fi Netflix movie that was like god awful. That like is literally Jennifer Lopez in like a pod the entire movie, and it's like not even any action whatsoever. She's just like faking tears the entire film. And then there's one I watched because it was like on Tubi, and it was like very short. It was like 62 minutes. So I was like, oh, I'll get it out of the way. It was called Murderitaville instead of Margaritaville. And it was a whole parody on that, but it didn't even have a margarita in it.
Why?
Or any Jimmy Buffett songs or anything. It was like a film that was shot for like $300. I swear it looked like it was that low budget. And it was ridiculous. I
don't bother with like $300 student films on Tubi because Tubi will post anything on there. You know, like most of the time I won't. Unless it's Hunter X. Unless it's a masterpiece that is Hunter X. And then I will watch the shit out of JPO in Hunter X on Tubi.
A lot of my films are gonna be like Tubi original type stuff because I was like, oh, they're only like 60 minutes or whatever, and I was like, oh, they're short. Okay, I'll watch that. And turns out
I'm not arguing you, but I'll never understand the logic of like I'll watch a shit ton of shitty 60-minute movies. Sacrifice 30 minutes and watch a better movie.
I mean, yes, that is the better logic, but at the same time, I'm like, well, at least I can add a movie to my list. You know, that's kind of how I felt towards the beginning of the year, especially.
I just don't dive into the cesspool that is like the underdregs of Tubi. Like I just because they'll just post anything. Like it's not hard to get on Tubi. I swear I could post like a Facebook reel on Tubi and it would get published. Like I don't know what constitutes what makes it to Tubi. But
I also
let's
do
throw a couple of these episodes together and put them on Tubi.
Yeah, we could. I bet you we could. It's not that hard.
I also want to shout out as a dishonorable mention, Afraid or Afraid. You know, it's not even afraid. It's like they put the emphasis on AI, so it's Afraid or whatever. A god tier jump scare at the beginning that literally made my friend like fall out of his chair, and I died laughing. But it was beyond that. It was terrible and boring as hell. And then the other one I want to mention is Argyle. I know there's fans, but I was not a fan. And then Imaginary and The Crow. Those are the Crow remake. Those are and Lift.
That Sheldon coming for you.
Lift on Netflix. That was boring as hell too. I don't know if any of y'all watched that, but Lift on Netflix.
Sheldon's a fan of the Argyle. Is he a big fan of that one?
Weirdly, I've seen worse.
Yeah. Yeah. Richie, any dishonorable mentions before we get to the 12?
Yeah. Try to persevere at the moment. Like hopefully it'll come right soon. You guys sound like robots at the moment. That's what cut out. Only one. There's a really boring movie that came out probably around August on Amazon called No Fast Move. I think it's called. It's with KJ Apa. It's a motorbike movie. It's just boring, uninspired movie. Space Cadets with Emma Roberts. I mean, it's boring. I mean, it's not funny at all. And that's pretty. Lift with Kevin Hart and company. He tries to be a badass. He's not a badass. Well,
was it bad year for Kevin Hart trying to go outside of his wheelhouse? It's a borderline.
Yeah, there's another movie where he tries to be a badass and it's not believable at all.
He's just not that. You know, I understand. I appreciate people, actors trying to go outside their wheelhouse, but do dramatic stuff. You're not a badass. You're just not. You're like it's just didn't talk like this all the time. And it immediately dates itself by having a NFT auction at the start of the movie. So those are the ones that stick out to me. The rest are sort of on my list really. So yeah.
All right, sounds good. For me, Borderlands, the aforementioned kind of alluded to with Kevin Hart, just a bad Guardians of the Galaxy ripoff and just a really poor video game movie, very boring. Kraven the Hunter, very bad. And one of the worst scripts of the year. I swear, I know we say a lot that it was like written by AI, but I swear this movie was written by an AI program, especially a lot of the reshot stuff. Some of the worst lines of the year. The American Society of Magical Negroes, just very another just boring movie that turns into just a really bad rom-com that's uninteresting. Summer Camp, which hurts me because it was filmed right up the road from me here in Hendersonville at the camp, and the caterer was coming in every day to grab all the food and stuff. The movie stinks, and it's just one of these geezer pleasers. Not good. And I hate to say it, but Transformers 1 annoyed the shit out of me, and I did not like that movie at all. And I felt it was just
Sorry, Zach.
Girls, I just don't like it. It's ADD, animation, and I did not enjoy it. So, let's get to the actual bottom 12 here and into the shenanigans as well. So I will go last. Of course, we'll keep it going just clockwise here. JPO, will you kick us off, please, with your number 12?
I feel like I might be alone in this. It's a comedy, if you will. A reunion features your boy Little Rel Howery, so I know you're rushing to go see it, Pez.
Yes.
It reminded me a lot of, I don't know if anyone ever saw the Apple show After Party, but just way less funny and unique. Some good talents here, though. Billy Magnuson, who you've seen in several things. My girl Jillian Bell. Who else is in this? No, I'm thinking of After Party. I'm getting confused, actually. Let's say an After Party cast member. But, basically a known celebrity gets killed. They're trying to figure out who it is. It's played by the guy from The Deep. Or not, the guy from The Boys. The Deep from The Boys. The Aqua guy. So, he gets killed, and they're trying to see, it's got to be one of us based on the time frame, from these friends from high school. So who did it? And, again, it seems like forced laughs. Maybe it's also kind of felt to me like possibly one of those comedies that like didn't have a tight script and like we got funny people, funniness will ensue, and it just didn't necessarily happen, or the script was just bad, one of the two. So I wanted it to be a lot better than it was. It's very forgettable.
All right. Malcolm chiming in. His number 12 is going to be Harold and the Purple Crayon, which I have not seen, but I've heard bad things about.
No, I'm not 7, so I didn't get to Purple Crayon.
Right. All right. Well, JPO kicking it off with his number 12 of Reunion. Wolfman, we'll jump to you for your first pick at number 12.
Yeah, I didn't get to see that Lil Ray Howery movie, but I will be seeing a new Lil Ray Howery movie on Thursday. That like one of them days movies that's like going to be coming out in theaters, and I'm not.
Little Ray, isn't he also in Harold and the Purple Crayon?
I think so. Yeah.
100%. He's the buddy who's also like a moose, but then turned a little Howery somehow for whatever reason.
All right.
Yeah, my number 12 on the list is what you just mentioned earlier, Austin, and it's I can say this word because y'all aren't monetized yet, so YouTube can't like kick me off of the stream or do whatever, but that is the American Society of Magical Negroes.
It's literally the title of the movie, so like I don't see.
I know, but apparently like YouTube's been.
Yeah, I'm scared. We're not allowed to repeat the name.
But apparently YouTube's been like straight up like blocking videos for using the word on there, even though it's literally the title of their movie.
That's the title of the movie.
And there's been like controversy with that, like YouTube doing that.
It's a bunch of pussies, man. Like,
so do they knock off the trailer that's literally says it multiple times? Like, yeah, what are we doing?
It's like really weird, but no, this movie was so bad. Oh my god. I know you weren't a fan of I Saw the TV Globe, but I watched like a Justice Smith movie this year that was like in one of my favorite movies of the year, and then I watched this one, which was absolutely terrible, and he has no chemistry whatsoever with like the girl that he's supposed to be having a romantic relationship with or whatever, and I'm fine with them giving a message, right? Because Get Out, it clearly has a message. You know, when you watch
Message.
stuff like that, there's clearly stuff like that in the movie. I'm completely okay with that. But Get Out makes it feel natural, and it like rolls with the film, and it like makes it feel like it's moving at a steady pace and all this. This feels like
Get Out with Little Ro Howery.
This feels like, okay, we're gonna try to make another film entirely, and like throw in these forced politics in there. Literally, just throw them in randomly when they're not supposed to be in there. Like, that's how it felt. Like, it didn't feel like there was a natural progression into sharing whatever kind of message they wanted to share and put in the movie. And it just really annoyed me. And then they set up a sequel that's gonna, what was it called? Like, American Society of Women Hoes? I don't even know what it was. It was some shit that they set up at the end, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Why am I supposed to care about another movie in this that's supposed to be set up later on in this film? It's a big old pile of dumb, and I hated it. So that's my number 12.
Yeah, it's bad. It's in my honorables. All right. Well, Richie, let's move on to you to kick off your list.
All right. I actually just watched this, and I'm like, yeah, it's got to be in there. I'm not. This is boring as shit. We talked about this dude that's kind of going into the trajectory. He's still a great actor. He's good in it, but this movie bored the shit out of me. And my number 12 is Sleeping Dogs. It came out about a dude who kind of sort of has an accident, loses memory, and then has to like piece together this sort of this case, like this murder case, because this person got wrongfully convicted of it, and it moves along like a snail's pace. Karen Gillan's in it, and she's bad. She's like just overacting to the point. I'm like, what movie are you like? She's like really bad. I mean, it's cool to see like Tommy Flanagan, like he's from Flanagan, because it's like a mini like Gladiator reunion, because he's also a Gladiator. But yeah, like it's like so like just mind-numbingly boring, and I don't know it's weird that I think Russell Crowe is at the point in his career where he just says yes to anything, and he's a better actor.
Apparently, he'll say yes to any exorcism script. That's for sure.
Yeah,
that comes his way.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, it's sad because it's like he's good in this, like but I don't know what Karen Gillan's doing. It's just not an engaging film.
Malcolm's got you covered, Wolfman. The Society of Supportive Wives and Girlfriends is what they tease at the end.
That's what it was. Like, okay. I mean, hey, I wasn't far enough. Like hoes,
close.
Same difference. Okay. It's fucking.
Yeah. So anyway,
Wolfman, damn.
Anyway, Sleeping Dogs is not a good movie. It's boring. I like sort of mystery whodunit movies, but this I didn't care at the end, and by the end I won't spoil it. It gets obvious. Like, fair enough.
Sounds like put you to sleep, dog.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. We'll move on to my number 12, which will probably get punted. So I imagine it is Jeff Wadlow's Imaginary.
Punt.
Okay. All right.
It's in my dishonorable mentions. But
all right. So yeah, it's all relatively on our list.
I'll watch Lift 3 times again before I watch that. So I don't know. So
all right. All right. No, fair enough. So we will punt Imaginary till later. So JPO, we are back around to you for number 11.
I have Blood for Dust.
Blood for Dust.
This is a Scott
classic JPO. I've never heard of this until now. Cool.
Well, I'm about to basically give the same review that you just did for Sleeping Dogs. It's just a really boring. It's got a basic enough premise you've seen before. Scott McNairy's a nice enough guy who gets convinced by Kit Harington to go on a drug run, be like, they'll never respect you. You're a nerd. You're boring. So go to this drug run. Even Suplee will protect you. And then things just break down from there. The ending does something finally happens in the ending because guess what? It doesn't go according to plan. But like other than that, it's really just kind of boring. He like reunites with the girlfriend at one point, but you're not really that into the characters. You never really care. And Kid Harington is definitely like wasn't available to do more scenes. Like his character just dips for like the longest bit of it. And yeah, I didn't like it that much. Obviously.
All right. Yeah, I got a couple people checking in the comments. Chris's Diaz number 12 is Mean Girls the musical. He was not a fan.
Fuck no, I liked it.
Yeah, so he's not a fan. Malcolm disagreeing with that. No, he
had a double feature. Had a double feature with that and Beekeeper in the same day. So
yeah.
Jordan
Jordan Anderson checking in. He's out running around tonight, but he's going to be watching us at least, knowing what to avoid. He wanted me to rattle off his 12 at the end of the show, so I'll do that. So stay tuned. He has some bizarre ones on there as usual that I disagree with. But Malcolm's number 11 is I Saw the TV Glow, which I was not a fan of either.
Oh damn!
Wow, that is controversial already. Okay,
well, not really. I didn't like.
I mean,
either.
for most people, except for you, Austin. I'm sorry, a lot of people seem to really like that movie.
Yeah, I was not a fan.
I'm in the middle. I'm probably closer to Wolfman, but I ain't far from Bez.
Yeah, I'm like right. It's like a 5 out of 10. Like I appreciate some of the filmmaking going on, but it frustrated
I'm
me
higher
more
than
than I
that.
enjoyed
But
it.
I'm not at like the in my top.
All right, so JPO had Blood for Dust at number 11. Wolfman, we're back out around to you for number 11.
All right, my number 11. I'm sorry, Austin. I know you're a fan of this one, but I got to mention it. It was the first movie of the year, Founders Day.
Punt. Let's punt that till later.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
All right. So let me just type that in here for later, and we will punt. Founders Day. Write that down for you, Richie. What is your number 11?
So yeah, I acknowledge that some of the things in my honorable mentions are probably worse movies, but I'm also factoring disappointment in here, because it's like disappointment and also a bad movie. My number 11 is something I just recently watched as well. My number 11 is Maxine.
Interesting.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the aesthetic of it. I like certain things about it, but I don't know. There's just some sort of I don't think that it explores enough of the actual Maxine sort of Pearl character. I feel like I didn't like the third act much at all. I don't know. I feel like it was a big just a kind of a step down. There was there's like a lot of scenes where not a lot is sort of not a lot's happening. I had so high expectations from Pearl and even X, where it was just Maxine was just sort of there, and I don't know. I wasn't engaged at all. I was like, okay, look, it might be a controversial thing, and that's probably my only sort of maybe major controversial one. But I just was not a huge fan of Maxine, so 11.
Okay. I know there's somebody, in the, I believe Jordan Anderson was not a fan either. I like the first two acts, and Kevin Bacon especially I thought was awesome in that movie. I thought he's ever so much fun.
I could definitely argue it being in a disappointment list because it doesn't match the first two. But bottom list, I can't go that far.
When Austin and I did our roundtable discussion, we didn't put it in the bad tier, but we put it in sort of the it's a disappointment compared to the other two. How
right? Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I would put it third out of the trilogy for sure, but I still think there's some decent stuff going on in that movie. So I just can't go that low. But totally understood. Jonathan Caro chiming in. He said his top 10 is out there somewhere, but he's throwing in Red One and Afraid for his if he had to do an 11 and 12. So
What are you above us, Jonathan? You won't disclose your 10 through 1 because we're gonna wait for
yeah, I know.
Calm
You
down.
can follow along with us, man. Post your stuff in there like everybody else is doing. All right, my
No, I
number
know
11.
he's going. People are waiting for my list. You'll have to wait too. Fuck off. Love you, Jonathan.
Yeah, no. So I have a feeling my number 11, I believe, is going to get punted if me and JPO are simpatico from the other night. Taro is my number 11.
That is a definite punt.
Punt. All right, we are
Holy
punting
shit,
Taro.
is that a punt?
I wasn't gonna punch you. I'm close with you. Oh, actually, yeah. I guess continue to punch it because that's what I'm about to talk about. So.
You know from the stream the other night. That's definitely a punt for sure.
Okay, no, for sure. So I'm assuming JPO, your 10 is
that's what I was about to bring up. So
all right, so I guess the other two guys are going to punt it till later as well. So yeah, we will table Taro till later, but I will add it to your ticker here real quick. But Wolfman, I guess we were on to your number 10 then.
All right, I'm curious to see if any of you have seen this film. I know you streamer people. It did drop on Netflix eventually, and I love Jenna Ortega, but I fucking hated Miller's Girl. Did y'all?
Oh, no.
Because
of the reasons.
I know the negativity around it, but I haven't watched it.
All right, yeah. I watched this one when it hit Netflix, when it hit streaming, and God, was this awful. This was a film that I'm conflicted on because the performances were good. Like, I'll give Martin Freeman the benefit of the doubt, and I'll give Jenna Ortega the benefit of the doubt. Like, they did act well in the movie. But it is creepy. I mean, I understand, like, she's technically of age, but it's still creepy. Like, she's like 18, and this guy's like, what, like 40 something or 50 something? Mm-hmm. And it's like, and I'm like, this is, and he's like jacking off to reading a letter that she wrote or whatever, like reading off one of the assignments she wrote or whatever. And I'm just like, no, what? No, this is gross. I don't want this in my head. Like, this is taking things way too far. And I don't know. Eventually I got really bored with it too. And I just wasn't invested in the story and what they were trying to say. Like I've seen these erotic thrillers done way better and not as creepy with a huge age gap like this. So it's this one really did not. I watched it because I'm such a huge fan of Jenna Ortega and was really disappointed that she signed on to do this film. It was disgusting and not what I was hoping for. So yeah, Miller's Girl, not a good movie, and is my number 10.
All right, fair enough. Miller's Girl coming in there. A couple more. Malcolm chiming in on Taro as well. So, we're all hovering around the Taro that's in the cards. Diaz, another one we'll probably get to at some point with the Crow. I'm sure we will talk about that. We'll get there. He is good. JPO, you peer pressured him into it. And his number 10, is also Miller's Girl. So there you go.
Hey, there you go.
Mr. Caro in agreement with that. It's creepy and weird. So.
Is it weird that Johnson's review of Miller's Girl makes me kind of want to watch it now?
Yeah, kind of. I heard about it on a podcast as well that it was bizarre. So,
yeah.
All right.
Again, the acting's good, but everything else is.
Yeah, the subject matter. Richie, you're number 10.
In fairness, Wolf, she might be a good writer. Anyway, I'm not going to make that joke anymore. Christ, I don't want to bear that. Oh God, I can't believe I said that. Anyway, number 10, a very bad. We're talking about how formulaic sometimes music biopics can be, and sometimes, in the wrong hands, it can be formulaic. And it kind of seemed hateful, like a hit piece. And that was Back to Black. This biopic sucks. Amy Winehouse deserves better. No. Yeah. All right. No one has it. I keep.
I haven't seen it. I didn't see it. So yeah,
okay. So if you want to see a good sort of portrait of her life, watch the documentary Amy that came out in 2015. I think this one has I think her dad was involved, and his dad played by Eddie Mars, and he's portrayed as like this nice, sympathetic character, very, very suspiciously, and like basically all this movies, all the problems boil down to is boys, men problems, and that she's just a drunk, and she's not even portrayed as likable in this film at all. And then just like, and then they just gloss over things, and it's just the weirdest movie. And I can't even remember the name, but she doesn't even really do a great like Amy Winehouse like impression. It's weird. It feels like a sort of one of those biopics that shouldn't exist, or like those like I don't know. It feels like just a defense, like they released it to try and defend from what the documentary was saying. Like Jack O'Connell's good as a boyfriend, but like he's doing the best he can, but it's not good. This movie is like, if you're Sam Taylor Johnson is not a good director. I'm just saying she's not a good director. I don't even you get the impression she doesn't even. It's not even a huge fan of Amy Winehouse. She can't be. She directs like this. So this movie sucks.
All right.
They tried to get me to see this movie. I said no.
Garrett Chavez said he may have oversold Miller's Girl to you, JPO. With his
Red Shoes.
Red Shoe Diaries. I like it. I remember those days of HBO. Diaz chiming in with Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon Part 2. Yes,
I meant to get to that. Never did.
Snyder needs needs a writer. He's a good visual guy, but he needs somebody else writing his material.
He needs a writer.
Yeah,
might even
a good director. Bad
cinematographer.
He's a bad writer.
Yeah, I don't even know if I wanted to be the director. Yeah, like that's the problem.
Yeah, good visual guy, but he needs writing. Yeah. He's just mentioning it as number 9 because Back to Black he also has on his list. Diaz.
I remember Diaz has been
because I don't hate the first Rebel Moon. Like I thought there was interesting ideas in there, but
it's all right. But holy shit, is there like plot holes and it's
all right.
Looks good again. Close your eyes. Music video, cool.
Yeah. I think I'm the only one who has this on this list, so sure I'll be able to talk about it. My number 10 is Robert Zemeckis' Here. Which was a huge disappointment. So Robert Zemeckis, man, is fascinating because I think he's really kind of fallen off since the 2000s. I haven't really loved anything he's done. And he had a banger, 80s and 90s. I mean, the Back to the Future movies, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Forrest Gump. I mean, he was like on a roll for a long time. And this movie is a straight gimmick. It's literally, if you don't know the gimmick, you can watch the trailer and almost see the whole movie. It's just shot from this one stationary perspective kind of in this house, but it's through different time periods. So you see like dinosaurs and then it jumps to like Native Americans, like raising a family. Then there's something in like in like 1900 with a guy inventing the lazy boy who looks like Josh Gad, but it's not Josh Gad. And then it jumps to like, you got the 50s and Paul Bettany raising Tom Hanks like as a kid, and there's another plot line with Tom Hanks as an adult and their problems with him and Jenny from Forrest Gump, and then it's like then there's another African American family like kind of during COVID as well, but it's all shot from like just this one perspective in this one room on this one neighborhood block. But the problem is you don't get invested in any of the characters or any of the storylines because we're constantly just cutting back and forth to ones. There's some that go too long, and then there's some you forget existed because then they come back to it and you go, oh, I forgot about that storyline and I didn't care. I don't give a shit about this guy inventing the lazy boy. It's not that interesting. I don't care. They're celebrating, and him and his wife are just like horny, and they're fucking on it. And I know it sounds more interesting than it actually is. It's not. The Native American stuff is just them, walking around and collecting berries, and it's boring. The most interesting thing about it is probably the Paul Bettany character. He's at least trying to do something with his character. He's doing kind of a drunken, alcoholic dad who's struggling to raise the kids and whatnot. He's trying. God help him, he's trying. But Tom Hanks is not likable at all. He's playing a very unlikable character, and you just don't get invested in it whatsoever. It's the most boring mainstream bigger, more prestigious filmmaker movie I saw this year. It put me to sleep multiple times, and I was just dozing. Man, you want to take a nap? Man, JPO, pop this movie on. You will have a wonderful one. Yeah. Oh man, put Here on, and you will have a lovely, lovely. And the great thing about it is you'll wake up and you'll be like, oh, they're still doing that. there's those people. I know. And you won't miss anything. It's fine.
So I got one of those like dollar theaters where I live. Like those things where you pay like $2 or $3 to go see a movie, and it's like one of those discount theaters. And I guess Hero has been successful at that discount and dollar theater because it's been there for like a solid like 4 to 5 weeks now. It's just like I haven't even gotten to see it in that theater yet. I had no interest in driving to downtown Lynchburg, Virginia.
He is with me. This is number 7. He has it on there, and I'm sorry, Steven Shepard. I know you're a big Zemeckis fan, Contact, and all that, but I'm sorry. Here is a swing and a miss, in my opinion. So check it out if you want to. Just don't get your hopes up. That's all I would say. Just keep your expectations low for this one. But we are now beyond the 10 here. We're getting into number 9. So JPO, kick us with your number 9. What you got?
I have that Afraid thingy.
Afraid.
Just for cover.
Oh, punt. Okay. All right. We will punt Afraid. All right. And Wolfman, what's your number 9?
I'm sure this is going to get punted. Madam Web.
That is a punt. All right. Madame Web will get punted till later.
Next month's drinking game. So.
Yeah, we're doing it next month for the monthly mistake drinking game. We are. So, because it was a February release. There's already ones online now. Malcolm's number 9 is Incoming. I don't know what that is, on Prime or Netflix or something. You ever heard of this one?
I've seen that. Coming of age. I've seen it, actually. Big year for coming of age films. I didn't mind it.
There's a whole bunch of them. All right, Richie, we are right back around to you. Number 9.
Yeah, so I initially didn't give this a terrible review, but the more I think about it, the more it's just pointless and really just soulless and stupid. I don't know why they did it. So my number 9 is Mufasa, the Lion King.
Okay, all right.
I really
don't hate it.
I don't it's just one of those things where it's there's a bit of step up from the first one you did, but that's not saying much. They literally tell you that they don't have anything to do. They don't know what to do with Timon and Pumbaa because they're there to interrupt the story. You're getting into the story. Timon and Pumbaa just why aren't we in this? Okay, and then back to the story. Rafiki's back back to the story, and then I'll just say Scar's motivation is fucking weak as bits. I'll just say that. I don't know. And then some of the songs aren't as good. There's a really bad villain song in here. I think is it Aaron Pierre who is the voice of the Fast. I think he does a good job. I think he's a good upcoming sort of star. But I don't know. I just think this is sort of very soulless, lifeless. And the more I think about it, it's one of those things where I'm like, that was better than the first one. That's all I would want. I'm like, that's not all I should have wanted. I should have wanted a good movie. And this movie's it's not good. Yeah, it's still not good. And I don't know. Just leave well enough alone. And I do these live action Disney things. Just go away. And I'm sure even in before doing the worst 2025, I'll just put it on there now. Snow White. There you go. We'll talk about it because I feel like we're going to be talking about that. If that movie is good,
the movie looks terrible. Yeah, it looks bad.
If that movie is good, then that is going to be surprising as hell. That's going to be more surprising than Challenges being good. So yes.
All right. Well, Richie going with Mufasa, the Lion King, at his number 9. My number 9 might get punted again. It is The Crow.
It was in my dishonorable mentions, but it wasn't okay.
It's a small punt. I'll say.
Small punt. Okay, gotcha. We'll punt it for the moment here. JPO, we'll be right back around to you, sir, for your number 8.
Yeah, let's get back to Netflix. Trigger warning. The Jessica Alba.
That's my honorable. I took it off.
Okay.
Just a nothing action film here where she's weirdly enough not in the worst part about it here. It's really just the script is bad. Sometimes even some of the effects don't work out here. Decision making, especially towards the end, is bad. Also a movie that I'm struggling to remember some of the plots because again, we're going back to just early in the year now, where it is not held up at all, and even in a fun bad way, it's not very good.
Yeah, and we discussed like Jessica Alba. I looked it up again the other day. She owns that like natural brand of food or something like that. Like she owns like this food brand, and she's worth like $350 million. And the company itself is like a multi-billion-dollar company. Why did she need to make Trigger working, JPO? I just don't understand why she needs to she needed to make this movie.
Prove that she can be a good actress. I don't know.
I guess, but yeah, this of all things. All right, so trigger warning there. Avoid it. Wolf, back around to you for number 8.
This is not a spoiler, but we now have made history and have a new women's intercontinental champion. So.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I was about to fucking yell at you, but okay.
That's not a spoiler though.
No, I get it. No matter what.
Yeah, no matter what, there's a new intercontinental.
Got it now. For a second, I was like, you asshole. Oh,
yeah. You're treading. Yeah. You tread lightly with JPO and wrestling real-time spoilers. Yeah, don't do that. I can adjust that.
I got it now. I get it.
Okay.
But yeah.
How dare you tell me it's in the first hour of the show? God damn it! Wow, first hour. What the
hour? Oh my god.
All right. Anyways.
But no, my next one is, this might be a punt. I don't know if everyone mentioned it in the dishonorable mentions or not, but it was Borderlands.
Punt.
Okay.
Punt.
All
Okay.
right, we will punt Borderlands. Yeah, it's in my dishonorables, but Richie has it higher. All right, so we will punt Borderlands for now. All right, Richie, we are right back around to you with a couple of punts and whatnot. So right back to you.
So my next one, I sort of had struggled to put on because I was like, well, again, it's sort of like Wicked. I'm like, well, it's not for me, but then I was like, well, this is like also like, I don't know. It's just I still find it, soulless and stupid. My number 8 is Garfield. The Garfield movie.
It's called The Garfield movie, right?
The Garfield movie. This movie sucks.
Okay.
For one, Chris Pratt is not. He's not playing whatever character is on screen. That's not Garfield. That's not the Garfield you remember from whatever. I feel like they had a script and then they're like, okay, let's just rework it and make it Garfield. That was the character could be anything. There's product placement all the way through this movie. Like I don't. There's just it's weird. There's like jokes about Tinder. It's like strange. I mean, it's kind of fun cameos like Snoop Dogg's a cat. But yeah, and like Nicholas Hoult does all right as the main dude. But I don't know. I was when I watched this, I was like, the kids around me, they were bored. This movie is just like I don't know why. Yeah, like I just don't know why this movie exists. In like 2024, I was just like, okay, and it doesn't. I don't know, just didn't like. It was not. I guess not supposed to grab me, but it was not anything even entertaining for like adults or parents. I feel like that it would just be a slog for them to get through as well. It just is not funny. It's just a cash grab, and just tries to market other things to you, which is I always have a pet peeve with that. So yeah, number 8, Garfield.
Number 8 is Garfield.
I want to say weirdly. Okay, so I went to go see that movie in like really 3D because like that was the one Showtime that I was playing, and I was like, all right. I was with my friend. I was like, all right, let's go see this Showtime in really 3D. Bad movie, but actually had some really good 3D. Not gonna lie, like there was some really good 3D moments.
I was gonna say that's still a thing outside of Avatar. Like, why are people still seeing movies in 3D? I don't get that. Malcolm, chime in. Yeah, number 9. Oh no, sorry, you already mentioned that one. He said number 8 was Beautiful Wedding, sequel to Beautiful Disaster. I haven't even heard of these movies, so I don't know what that is.
They were like Fathom Events or something. It was
Yeah, and showed you how much JPO that Netflix promoted that Jessica Alba movie because Steven Shepard Jessica Alba was in a movie this past year.
What?
No, what?
Yeah.
No, I didn't even know until I think you started bringing it up as well. That she was in one. All right, so we're going on to number 8 here. My number 8, I don't think anybody else has it on the list because I doubt anybody saw it. It is the Matt Walsh documentary, Am I Racist?
Yeah, I almost considered seeing that, and then I was like, I have a lot of like liberal friends who work as part of my team at Mega Movies, and I was like, I feel like I'm gonna literally get shunned by those people if I actually go through this work.
Dude, I saw it just because I was hearing such like goofy things about it. And normally I would ignore it if it just came out like the other one did, like on the Daily Wire website. I wouldn't give a shit because I just wouldn't go there and watch it. But like it got like a major theatrical release. I mean, it was everywhere when it came out. And I got Regal Unlimited. I got time. So I watched it. Yeah, this is a really cringy like documentary with him trying to make these like statements about people playing the race card and whatnot. And there is like something to be said for that, but the problem is Matt Walsh is not funny and he's cringy and he's not he doesn't make good arguments, and he's poor at what he does, and he's trying desperately to do these like sort of undercover things where he's not even undercover for something. He's like trying to be undercover, and his idea of being undercover is like adding a ponytail to his hair and like wearing like a wig. That's it. So he's not even like trying very hard to like do a Borat thing or anything. And and you end up like actually just feeling bad for the people he's trying to expose or insult because his attempts at humor are so poor. He has no comedic timing. His idea in one of the case of things is these people are having this dinner and they're trying to have this dinner and discuss like race issues and whatnot. He just is one of the waiters and he just keeps dropping plates, and that's his idea of like trolling, I guess. It goes on for like 15 minutes. It's just him dropping stuff, and that's his idea of I'm gonna expose these people by just dropping things. The sort of setups go on forever. Like there's one at the beginning where it goes on for like 20 minutes. It is way too long, and he has no idea how to edit this thing together and make any kind of points, and just very, very cringe. There's nothing worse than bad comedy. Bad comedy is some of the worst you could ever do when it's just not funny, and he's not funny. He's not Sacha Baron Cohen, so stop it already. You don't know how to make these movies. So
you trying to make points by doing Impractical Jokers comedy.
He's trying to make like political, and mix it in with that, but it doesn't work. You either gotta pick a lane. You gotta do one or the other, and it just doesn't work. So it's very, very stupid and not funny. One of the longest movies I saw this year that was like 90 minutes. Just if you know what I mean by that. Just oh my god, was I counting the seconds as I was sitting in the theater? So, Am I Racist? The Matt Walsh very bad documentary.
Conservative Borat, as I've heard.
It's bad, dude, and he's nowhere near Sacha Baron Cohen level. Like not even close. It's very bad. So a couple of people chime in before we get back to JPO. Shepard said you lost me at Matt Walsh, but yes, it's called Am I Racist? It's very bad.
How does that man hate waffle fries? I don't get it. Like that, he made a whole thing about how like he hates waffle fries at Chick-fil-A. Like this is one of his most despised foods. It's like
I started watching Megalopolis today. I only got like 40 minutes in and I turned it off. Maybe I'll get back to it. We'll see. And Malcolm reiterated the point that I made that somehow Megalopolis is just off the internet now. You can't even like rent it. You can't stream it anywhere. You can't. It's nowhere. It's going to be erased from the internet for availability.
Really?
So I literally was watching it on via alternate means today. But it's just gone. Like even as of 2 weeks ago, I was going to rent it on Vudu. It was available to rent on like Apple and Google Play and stuff. It's just gone now. Go look it up yourself. Go look on Just Watch.
Megalopolis.
Nowhere.
Megalopolis didn't make my list because it's a very weird film for me. Like if someone gives it 0.5 out of 5, they're completely valid. But then if someone gave it a 5 out of 5, they're also completely valid. Like it's a very weird movie in that sense of like it wasn't.
so far it wasn't bad enough to like put it on a worse list because it wasn't funny bad. It was just boring bad. So I don't know. Just I had nothing.
Like, it has great ideas in there. It's just execution's like not.
All right. Let's go on to number 7. JPO, hit us with your 7.
Yeah, I have. Now I have Madame Web.
Madame Web. It is also my 7. Does anybody have a longer? Richie has it higher. All right, so we are still punting Madame Web till later. So yeah, just say punt. Okay, punt. There you go. All right. Okay. Yeah, because I don't know who has the highest, so just keep saying punt if it's a punt. All right, Wolfman, you're number 7.
All right, my number 7. I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna have Strangers Chapter 1. Does anyone else have that one?
We can talk about it. I have it next.
Okay. So yeah, y'all go ahead and both talk about it then. Right.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I thought that this film, I was excited for it at first because one, I was hoping Rennie Harlan would come. Maybe it was going to be a comeback for him, but then 2 is it advertised itself as being different. You know, it said find out how the strangers became the strangers, and it's like, nope, this isn't going to be a prequel. This isn't going to follow each individual killer. Like, I thought one movie was going to focus on a different killer. You'd have one as Baghead, one as like Dollface, and one as Pinup Girl or whatever. And you were going to have like different movies following each killer, and it's going to be a prequel discovering like how they became, how they like the strangers and how they got to that point. But instead, it was saying, no, why don't we do a straight beat for beat remake of the original, except we don't make it as interesting, as scary, and how about we just throw in modern technology? Because, you know, the last one was 2008, you know, that's so old. Like, come on, are you kidding me? The little kiddies aren't going to watch something from 2008. Like, it is ridiculous. Like, come on. Why are we doing a remake of a film from 2008? That is like,
why are they remaking How to Train Your Dragon 10 years after How to Train Your Dragon?
I don't think they should be doing that.
Why are we remaking Moana about 5 years after Moana?
Making Moana when the franchise is still going. So
they still have a sequel in theaters right now.
It's so dumb. Like, I don't get why. Like, remakes should be for something. Even though God forbid, I would never want them to remake Wizard of Oz, but that at least is at the age of like remake territory, you know, stuff like that. But something like this, no, this is terrible. And I swear, if I ever hear another "Is Tamara home?" I might actually pull my hair out. Like, I'm sick of the same shtick. I'm sick of the same like, oh, because you were home or because you were here in this case or whatever. Like, stop with this shit. I'm gonna like, and the characters were stupid. Like, to another degree of stupid. You had a character who wasn't afraid to shoot somebody earlier in the film. He straight up shot someone earlier who wasn't a stranger. And then when it comes to actually killing the actual killer, he hesitates and he's pointing the gun at them. And I'm like, you had no problem killing somebody earlier. Why are you... Oh my God. And then on top of that, like the whole like asthma attack thing he has, and he like twists the bottle, like a plastic water bottle in the woods, and the killer can hear it, and he's like, oh, he's over there because I can hear him loudly twisting this plastic water bottle. It's like, dude, oh my God, these characters were atrocious, and I wanted them to die so bad. So yeah, that is why Strangers Chapter 1 is my number 7.
All right, and yeah, so you have it at number 6, I'm presuming. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, nothing too much crazy to add here. Yeah, no, this is the same movie we've seen before, just done worse. You know, that first one, there's a kind of an interesting dynamic of like there are a couple like, you know, who are kind of going through a tough time right now. Now it's just 2 CW pretty boring people that are just there making horrible decisions. You know, I mentioned before people making bad decisions. Holy shit, do you have to make egregiously bad decisions for this movie to trudge along? You've seen it before, and then it has the balls to go, now come back for part 2. Fuck you. Oh my God. Rennie Harlan, literally, I almost see him like, you ever saw James on Bob Strike Back, where fucking, what is it? Gus Van Sant's just counting his money during Good Will Hunting 2.
I'm busy right now. I'm busy.
Yeah, hey, you're a young DP. Fucking you shoot the scene. I'm gonna go take a poo. I don't know. This movie just sucks. Yeah, this is so bad, so bad. The sequel's not bad. Prey Night, I thought it was at least kind of interesting. This has nothing going for it.
And that other one, the chapter 2, was scheduled to be out like a few months later. It was kind of like Horizon. It was supposed to come out like literally like 2 or 3 months after chapter 1, and now it's coming out this next year.
It's still coming this year because like it's shot. I mean, it's might as well eke it out, I guess.
Yeah, that plan didn't work out so well to release them all in 1 year.
Well, but here's the thing: is that chapter 1, if you look it up on the box office, it cost like $8 million and made somehow scrapped up like $40 million. So the second one will come out. It'll get released because squeaked out a profit. So yeah. All right, Richie, we will move on to your number 7.
All right, now do you want to talk about Emo Crow?
Emo Crow, yeah. Does anybody have it higher?
Oh, no.
Have what movie?
The Crow.
Oh, The Crow. No.
Emo Crow.
I thought you said Emo Crow, and I was like, well, that still fits.
I did. I was just making.
No, it's on my list of number 9. Who else had it on the list? Oh, so just 2 of us. So yeah, Richie, you go ahead and then I'll go.
Yeah, like, I don't know, man. It is. It's just what it is. Like he's like Emo Crow, like this, like I don't know. The relationship is weird. It just reminds me of like a very cringe teenage, like start coming into my bedroom relationship. It's just strange. They got like there's this weird. They make like just the weirdest like decisions. I don't know. I don't necessarily think like if K Twigs is that great in this film either. It's just and like I don't know. It's just quite boring as well. And then it just gets mixed up with all this lore, and it gets complicated with itself. And then this if that's not enough, the stupid third act where he just goes on he goes on this rampage, and then and people get in the crosshairs. They have nothing to do with anything. They just lose their life for no reason, and then he traumatizes people for no reason. And it's like, okay, and then I don't know. It's just like I don't care about the love story. I don't care about these people. I would think Bill Skarsgård was having a good run until this movie. I like Boy Kills Well. I like Boy Kills Well. Nosferatu's good, but this movie is a roadblock in that. So, but anyway, it's just sad that they took so long for this movie to went through so many directors, actors, and then I mean I shouldn't be surprised that if a movie's in development how it comes out bad, but it just felt like it a bit more. It didn't feel like The Crow. Just I don't know. It just felt like if a moody teenager got his hand on him. But I was not a fan.
It's on number 9 on my list. Yeah, we waited 15 years, through all kinds of development news. I swear they were talking about this movie back on AMC Movie Talk, with John Canthea years and years and years ago. Whatever machinations, Bradley Cooper, Jason Momoa, I'm sure a few other people. This is what we got. Just a very bland looking movie, just ugly looking movie to look at. It looks like those Steven Seagal movies he makes in Croatia, just like the shitty direct-to-DVD movies with the bland, just gray and black, and just looks ugly. You don't buy the relationship for a second, even though we spend more time in the relationship than the original movie. I cared more about the original one through the flashbacks and whatnot. This one, you don't buy that these two junkies are anything beyond a weekend fling. You don't buy that they're some soulmates, this inescapable love for each other. I don't buy that for a second. Not for a second that you can't pry them apart, that this guy would go through hell to get her back. I don't buy it at all. He doesn't even go full Crow till like an hour and 10 minutes into the movie, till that opera sequence, and you're checked out by then. Like you just don't care. It's too little, too late. Yeah, at least the Brandon Lee one, he was going full crow like pretty early in that movie, and it was interesting, and he was getting a good performance. Yeah, Skarsgård looks bored. Danny Houston is a bland, vague power villain. It doesn't make any sense. And oh my god, is the ending just as illogical as it gets? Because they do this time reversal thing with it, and it makes no sense given what you had. Like they just didn't have an ending and reshot it. Just piss poor all around. Just a really, really bad movie. So I wholeheartedly agree. It was my number 9 on my list. So just checking in to the comments here. Diaz had it just outside his top 10, so he's also not a fan of The Crow. Malcolm's heading to work, so he's shooting in the rest of his list. He's got Imaginary, Uglies, which we'll get to, The Watchers, Madame Web, ISS, and he did agree with me on Not Another Church Movie. We'll get to it. So JPO, he did not have a little one of those like, oh, I enjoyed it. I had some, which I was afraid when he saw it. He's the only person I think who has. ISS, ISS was a disappointment. I thought it was boring. Great premise, bad execution. Do nothing with it. All right, so Richie at number 7. My number 7 was Madame Web. I'm assuming we're still Richie has it higher, so we're still punting that. All right, JPO had number 6 was his Strangers Chapter 1. So we'll go ahead for just a second. So Wolf, your number 6 is where we're in.
Well, you said we'll talk about it later, so I assume Uglies is a punt.
I'm one spot away, so we can talk about it now. It's my number 5.
Cool.
Yes.
So yeah,
unless anybody else has it on the list, I don't.
Uglies is one I literally watched last night because I knew I was going to be on this stream, and I was like, I've not seen Uglies yet, so why don't I go see that movie? I clicked it on Netflix and was like, I regret watching Uglies, and it was one of those moments where I was, oh my god, Okay, we all have these celebrities. You have Aquafina, and I can't even. Why am I blanking on the other?
Howell, a few other people.
I'm talking about Austin has like Aquafina, and
Giovanni Ribisi, and
like that. For me, it's Joey King. I can't goddamn stand her. Like I have seen her and Ross, my buddy, is all like, oh, but like watch the act. She's like great in the act. Dude, I don't have fucking time to watch a limited series of like fucking 10 episodes, all right? I'm not going to watch that.
Don't get mad at her for offering this.
Because I watched like a movie of like The Kissing Booth or The Kissing Booth 2 or some shit, and she's awful. And then I watched like Slender Man. She's awful in that. Wish Upon, she's awful in that. And she continues this hot streak of being, and not a hot streak because she's ugly. Very fitting to be in a movie called Ugly.
That's getting me.
But I'm sorry. I just say it straight up. She's ugly.
You think Joey King is ugly?
Yeah.
That goes to my point of the movie claiming that somebody like Joey King is ugly when they're clearly not. They're very attractive. And
I think she's ugly. I think that fits perfectly. And I am not a fan of Joey King whatsoever. She's a terrible actress, picks awful roles, and Uglies is proof of that. However, I will give Uglies one benefit of a doubt. I started the film, and the first line is, all my life, I've wanted to be pretty. I died. I literally was like rolling in my chair, laughing.
How do you roll in
rolling in the floor from just the stupidity of that line? I cannot believe a screenwriter wrote that. And I was just like at a loss for words. But it was, God, it was weird. It had this, it made no sense. It looked ugly, literally. The effects looked ugly, and everything about it looked ugly, like the color palette, all that. But then it's just the acting was terrible, and like the villain, that one villain looked like a fucking girl. Like he had so much makeup on, like I don't even know. Like it was fucking weird. And then she, like, when she does get pretty or whatever, she like literally covers herself in way too much makeup that I'm like, no, you just made yourself even more ugly than what you were earlier. So it's like God, the film was terrible. So yeah, Uglies is.
Yeah, I'm only one away. It's number 5. It's one that Jacob Barber, I guess you could say, recommended to me because he knows I love bad movies. So he'll always shoot me like a recommendation. Yeah, this is like if you took every YA novel on the planet and like mashed them into an AI program and it vomited out a script. This is what it is. And apparently it's based on another, again, YA book or something. But it feels like the person who wrote that book just took cliff notes of every other one and was just like, okay, evil corporation, futuristic society, outsiders who live in the woods, young, attractive cast who thinks they're not attractive. You mash this from the Hunger Games and this from Divergent and this from that and the other, and yet it's all just regurgitated out on screen. There's zero development of the city here, like the actual world they live in. They give almost no development to it at all. You just kind of thrown into it with just the bare bones of anything. Wolf can attest, like their character traits, the only character development you get is like, oh, they call me Nose because people make fun of my nose, so call me Nose. That's the extent of like character development in this movie is the person with the nose, and their nose isn't even like crooked or anything. It's fucking bizarre. Like they say things that just aren't true. Like the people that they claim are like ugly are beautiful YA actors, like these great looking people, and then their idea of when they go through this procedure being pretty is being like those celebrities you see that have had way too much Botox and plastic surgery and look like plastic dolls, after like 10 surgeries. That's their idea of like pretty, and it's like, no, you just made them even worse looking. But yeah, you have like the rebels that live in the woods that are trying to take down dumb conspiracies about them burning crops or something. I don't give a shit. Like whatever it is, it's evil corporation nonsense. There's terrible hoverboarding scenes. There's like these hoverboards she uses, and those scenes are atrociously bad. And those are the real ugly scenes of the movie because that CGI is horrible. And yeah, they had the audacity to end it on a cliffhanger, which I called like 30 minutes before it was even over. I'm like, oh, so this is going to happen at the cliff. Yep, that's exactly what happened right before she went to the credits. I don't give a shit. I know they're going to make – I'm sure they've already made it, or I don't know. Maybe they have. I guess it depends on the clicks. If it comes out, Uglies 2. It's McG who directed it, who's had a horrendous career. So, yeah, and I didn't know that till the end. Yeah, McG's Uglies. Yeah, this movie is ugly. It's terrible.
From the sounds of what you're saying,
although
hold on, Ron. All right, let me
from the sounds of what you're saying, it reminds me of like that Netflix film that like the tall girl. We're like, oh, I'm tall. They're picking on me. It's like, yeah, but you're also hot. I don't buy it.
I don't buy that people are picking on anybody in this movie. Yeah. Anyways,
yeah, but yeah. So to kind of play the director's game, right? He did Charlie's Angels from 2000, which was fun. It's kind of a fun guilty pleasure. I kind of enjoy that one. Then he did like the Babysitter movies, which aren't necessarily the best movies, but I still have kind of fun with them. But then he did Terminator Salvation.
I like Terminator Salvation. I'll defend it all day. I like that movie.
I think it's terrible. And then he did Family Switch from 2023, which I haven't even heard of, but just literally the poster right there is enough to like tell you what movie it is. And then he did Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, not quite as good. He did This Means War, not really all that good. So
the mediocrity that is McG. Yes.
3 Days to Kill, like he's done some interesting.
Scott loved that movie.
Yeah, he's a big fan of that movie. But yeah, let's move on. Yeah, Uglies is not good. Richie, we'll go to your number 6. What you got?
Has anyone else got a Frey-eyed higher?
Not higher, but I believe JPO had it on his list. Dishonorable mention. So yeah, we've all seen it. But yeah, Richie, go ahead with a Frey-eyed, and then we'll go to JPO for his thoughts.
This is another recent one that I got to because I was coming on here that I was talking about. Came through the library, and yeah, this one is just so like just lazily done. There's like this. It feels like there's like scenes like we're talking about a pet. It feels like there's scenes missing. There's stuff that characters mention that you don't even or the payoffs of things that they didn't even set up. There's just it's not even not scary. The acting's terrible. It reminds me of that movie that came, I think it was 2019, that I put on guilty pleasures called Countdown, which is like the Tom Segura. It's that kind of stupid bad, but I don't even know who this movie's for. It's not even coming out in a time where the AI movies are new. No, it's coming out in a time where we're having an abundance of them, and it's just dumb, bland, and it makes no illogical sense, and I don't know, and watch them make sequels. I it's not even that long for a film, but it feels longer, and I hated watching this film. So yes, and it might be up on my high on my list because of recently biased, but fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah, that's fine. JPO, you had it at number 9. Was the Afraid-eyed? Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's really didn't do much for me here. John Cho's another one of those actors where I'm like, I know you can do some good stuff. We love searching. But then this, he's also in that Grudge remake a couple years ago.
I watched the Grudge remake the other day. Holy shit, is that shit?
That is so bad. That movie was another top tenor.
That's one of me and Wolfman's highest viewed monthly mistakes is that Grudge 2020 movie, oddly enough.
It literally, not only one of the highest monthly mistakes, one of the highest viewed videos. It's at 1.3K or 1.4K views on YouTube. And
there's something about it, man, yeah.
And then and I'm just like, why out of all of our monthly mistakes is that one? That one? Come on, really?
Yeah, I think people are just fascinated by I don't know, a lot of it. By how bad it is. Maybe people want to bleed it leads. Yes. This one's even more. This might even be worse. I don't know if this one's more boring. I don't know. It's not like I'm going to go rewatch that Grudge one anytime soon. But I just didn't care about the family here. I didn't care about the scares. It wraps up kind of the way I thought it might, and it just ended up just being okay. It
was a movie that me and my girl, we talked about it at length on the way home. We watched it and just broke down the more we broke down the actual plot. The stuff they set up that doesn't pay off. There's a thing with a kid where he wants to watch violent videos that doesn't pay off at all. It seems like a setup that doesn't go anywhere. There's a thing where that wasn't set up that feels like some callback, but it's not, where the wife out of nowhere tells John Cho you could go back on the internet and talk to your girls or something. I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? There wasn't a scene. He's been a very loyal husband. What are you talking about?
It almost felt like a pandemic movie that wasn't finished, but there should be no reason why it wasn't finished.
They bump off that kid in the car, and then it's never mentioned again by any of the characters. There's no reaction whatsoever by the girlfriend or anybody. They just remove him from the movie, and we're just moving on. There's missing scenes in that movie. It's we got to run to the finish because we got to make it 90 minutes. There's a longer cut of that movie somewhere that has extra scenes, but all right, we'll get into number 6. My number 6 is Tyler Perry's Mea Culpa from earlier this year on Netflix. He had a bad year because I know he's made a couple of bad movies this year, but Tyler Perry, this movie is really, really stupid. Another piss poor attempt at some kind of erotic thriller that's not erotic, that just ends up being laughably bad. We are repeatedly told that Kelly Rowland's character is this really smart lawyer DA, which we don't see her do any lawyering at all. So that's mistake number 1, is she should at least have one scene in her in court winning a case or something. And we're just told, we're not shown, we're just told. And then she makes incredibly poor decisions just repeatedly throughout the movie with this gentleman who she knows is a bad guy. One of my dumbest writing scenes of the year, I've cited it before, is where we've fully established that there's both an elevator and a stairway to this apartment, this penthouse thing that she keeps going to, and she's standing inside this elevator repeatedly asking the guy to push the button, because it's over on the other side of the room, to let her down the elevator, and she's getting more frustrated. And we've literally established 2 scenes before that she could walk right around the corner to the stairs and just leave, and she doesn't. So she's an incredibly stupid, dumb character. And yeah, the really bad plot conveniences, especially with the Dominican Republic scene at the end, where she conveniently just solves the mystery by just randomly going to a place and bumping into somebody. It's incredibly convenient. And a bizarre third act with this violent family showdown that comes out of nowhere. It is a bizarre film. Tyler Perry's not a good writer, and I don't think he's a very good filmmaker. It's just very weird. Yeah, he's found his niche with the Medea things, I guess, and that's how he made his money with the TV shows and whatnot. So he's got his niche there. But yeah, anytime he tries to make anything outside of Medea, it's horrendous. So my number 6 is Mea Culpa. All right, so we are moving along here pretty good. JPO, we are into the top 5, or your bottom 5, the worst of the worst, the trash of the trash. Number 5, sir.
Players. What Gina Rodriguez and Damon.
I avoided this because the trailer's bad.
Yeah, trailer's bad. It doesn't get any better. Again, kind of like Reunion, I'm in it because I'm like, Gina Rodriguez, she's very likable. Damon Wayans Jr. we've seen on plenty of sitcoms and whatnot. Then you got Tom Ellis, Lucifer's in this here. So it's a weird plot that I couldn't get along with. First of all, the initial plot is these guys help each other be players. They set up these fun games in order to score with other people here, which, all right, cool. And then that's automatically taken down the first 20 minutes when Gina Rodriguez is like, I want to settle down. So there goes that fun. Now she wants to settle down. But your main character now just then continues to lie to poor Tom Ellis to seduce Lucifer. So you're kind of like, oh, you're kind of douchey. Like, this is not how, poor guy. Like, it's just scamming him into, being in a relationship with you here. And then, of course, you very quickly know that this is the movie. And again, this is not spoilers. If you've seen 5 movies, you know where it's going. Damon Wayans Jr., the buddy, is who she's going to end up being with. They're going to realize, oh, we could have been together all along. Even though the movie doesn't, prove that to you. She has just as much chemistry with Lucifer as she does with him. And he even dips out, too much of it too, as she's doing these other shenanigans as well. A couple of side friends have these side hustles that you don't care about. And it's just ultimately a very forgetful Netflix rom-com. There always seems to be a Netflix rom-com that sneaks into these for me.
Oh, yeah. And JP is always right there to watch them and let us know how terrible they are.
Yeah.
You're a sucker for those.
I'm looking at the poster, and there's like 2 other characters. I'm like, who is that? Oh, yeah, the one friend who's gay, the one friend who's, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, from the director of Step Up, All In, Pitch Perfect 3, and The Sleepover.
Ooh.
So there you go.
There you go. The worst Pitch Perfect.
Yeah, the worst one. The one that nobody liked, yes.
Another one that decides to become an action movie halfway through. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, really weird decision, all of a sudden.
All right, so JPO's number 5 was Players. Wolf, we are into your bottom 5 here. What you got?
So my number 5, this is giving you a hint at what my 4 are. They're all like straight to streaming kind of Tubi stuff. But my number 5, I have argued is the worst wide release horror film I have ever seen since Ouija, and that is Tarot. Do we have any other?
It's on my list.
It's my number 4. Can she talk? I don't know.
Yeah, because we're on number 5.
I disagree. This year alone had worse, but it's bad.
Yeah, we're on. It's Wolf's number 5. Richie, if it's your number 4, and JPO had it on. We all had it on our list, so I think we were at pretty much the highest spot. So yeah, we'll talk about it now. So go ahead.
We're ready.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So this movie is just terrible. Every single character, I wanted to die. I didn't give a fuck about them. The one compliment I'll give this movie is that one girl from Mean Girls that same year is kind of hot, but literally that's the only positive I can give this movie. Every other thing in this movie is terrible. It's a PG-13 horror movie. It's terrible because a person saws a girl in half and you don't even see any of the violence in there, and it's awful. And they don't even go deep into the horoscopes. They're just like, oh, let's play a tarot card game or whatever. And then now these tarot cards are going to hunt after you. And it's just it doesn't, I wish they would have delved deeper into the horoscopes and what they all mean and all that. And let me just say, the actress's name is Olin Foray. that's how you say her name. Now, if she's in a horror movie, it's a curse for your horror movie because she is in this, The Watchers, and Texas Chainsaw 2022. Like, she is not having a good career. I'm like, you are cursed if you have this lady in your horror movie. It's not good. It is absolutely god awful with annoying characters and just annoying dialogue. And you know a film is bad when people behind me were speaking audibly at full volume. And I was actually very thankful for that because I was more invested in what they were talking about than what was happening on screen. And I wanted to listen more to their conversation than to see what was actually happening on screen. It was that bad for me. So yeah, Tarot was just an atrocity of cinema. And I can't believe I went to go see this movie. Like I went after work and I was like, hey, it's convenient. It's like right after work, it's showtime.
No, bro. I see these trailers for these PG-13 horror movies, and I'm like, I'm there day one, bro. I can't wait because because the trailer just, it looks like shit. It's gonna be shit. I have to be there to see it play out because not all of them look exactly the same when they put the trailers out for these things. So you just know, like, oh yep, there's another one. All right, I can't wait. I'll be there opening day. So yeah, because these are my bread and butter, man. I love them. Like, not that I think they're good movies. I just, they're just because they're never good. They just aren't. But yeah, Richie, we all had tarot, so we're just going around the horn here, Richie.
Yeah. So yeah, this is just like a Dollar Tree fun destination. Where it's like, oh, well, you got this thing, you're the next one to die, but they die in boring circumstances. And then there's like, I mean, they don't all die. I mean, look, I don't get but like the only sort of well-known guy, I can't remember his name, but so not that well known, but there's a different Spider-Man
from Spider-Man.
Yeah, the different Spider-Man.
Ned from Spider-Man.
Like, he gets fucking trapped in a lift with the demon, and then it's like, oh well, he's screwed. And then, but he's not. He just leaves. Like, oh, my friend came and got me just in time. What a cop out. Anyway, bullshit. And it's just like it has every cliche. Oh, the creepy woman in the woods that knows the lore about stuff. And then it's just there's like there's nothing. And then there's always in the group there's one person who's like, no, you're all being crazy. This is nothing. Hey, what are you doing? You're being idiot. And then it ticks every box of like, it does this, it does that, it doesn't do anything new or exciting, and it's a boring paint by numbers movie, and that like, it's just like, it just sucks. I hated this movie, so that's what I'm for.
Yeah, no, it's everything that's like shit about just these bland PG-13 horror movies that they just crank out every single year. There's at least 2 or 3 of these shitty movies. And yeah, I mean, it's the same thing you guys have said. It's a Final Destination ripoff. It's just every cliche loud jump scares of just noises, that nobody hears. It's just noises are not jump scares.
Noises.
That's startling you. That's not scaring you. That's just making you jump out of your seat because a noise startled you. It's fake. It's nonsense. Yeah, the old lady who knows everything but won't give any information. There's another movie this year that had the same trope of just the old lady who knows everything but won't tell you anything. Off-screen kills where we're about to see the kill and we cut away. About to see the kill and cut away because it's PG-13 bullshit. Just a bland, boring ending that teases another dumb sequel. It's like the same ending for all these fucking movies that we defeated the thing but not really. We defeated the thing but not really. I hate that shit. So JPO, you also had tarot on your list.
Yeah, this is one of our rare all 4 of us get the bag on this movie. Tarot, Ouija, all these things, just fucking stop it, guys, or find a real script before because again, I really do truly feel that they were like, tarot, now somebody write it before, you know what I mean, because it was just not good on paper. It's funny. So Richie spoiled the Jacob Batalon thing. It's funny because there was like, it had both feelings for me because at first it's like, oh, the one guy I kind of like died, and then when they did it, then they retreaded it, I then was mad in a different way because it's so unearned. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna bring him back, like, you know, have it where like, oh, but then I found out if you do this, no, just someone came in because they want me alive in case there's a shitty sequel. Like,
because I'm the only known for.
It's the Margot Van Peebles Jaws the Revenge thing where he's clearly dead and we just bring him back at the end of the movie. Like it's really bad.
1,000% dead, and then they were like, he's kind of the best thing going. God forbid we get a sequel. Fuck, he's alive. How? I mean, like, if this was pitch meeting, it'd be like, because he is. Shut up. Stop asking questions. That's how he's alive.
I'm gonna need you to get all the way up off my back about that. All right.
How's he get out of that?
How's he alive? Because he is. That's how he's alive.
How's he alive? How did you get out of that? It's easy, barely an inconvenience.
Yeah, I just got out of it.
Yeah, it's really forgettable. You know, again, ask me about any of these characters. Gun to head. The fact it was funny. I don't know. That's all I got. The end. So yeah.
Had to get out of there. Unclear. Okay, that works.
Evidently, you just need to like live in a very like busy apartment complex, or like go to a 24/7 Walmart, never leave, and then it'll be safe.
Just go to an airport. Airports are always open. Just sit in the waiting room of the airport. You'll be fine. All right. So we are Richie. You had Tara at 4, but we'll get to your actual 5 here. What you got?
Okay. Maybe we'll get to talk about this now as well. On all 4 panel. Madam Web.
I think it's the highest spot, and I believe we all have Madame Web. So this is another back-to-back where we all are gonna dunk on the Madame Web. So go ahead, Richie.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's one of those things where, like, you know, I knew going in, I'm like, you're going to watch a bad movie. It was fun. Watching the press for this movie is really interesting because, like, Dakota Johnson couldn't hide the fact she was in a shit movie. She was like trying not to shit in the movie, which is doing press for it. And apparently Sydney Sweeney only did this as a favor to the studio so she could get money for anyone but you. So yeah, this movie is like a mess. You can tell like there's a lot of studio interference here. There's the dialogue is obviously ridiculous. You know like you can see, and you can see the trailer. The I don't know the fact that like obviously that they went in and edited things. They want you to know this movie, by the way, is in 2003. There's like this weird tacked on scene where they park in a car, and then there's like Beyonce's like first solo album there, which came out in 2003. There's like
they're playing Britney Spears' "Toxic" song from 2003.
That's toxic. It's just so like bizarre, The CGI sucks. The product placement is hilarious. Like she'll be at the barbecue and like she'll just pretend she can't open a Pepsi and she's just fumbling in the background. Like this film, like I didn't put this higher up because this movie's funny. But like
it's my favorite bad movie of the year. I always have one that's like a favorite that I would go back and watch for shits and giggles, and this is the one. Yeah.
This movie's fun. The ADR is awful. This villain sucks so bad. He's bad, and the ADR is bad. Like you don't see the actual people, like the sort of side characters in their suits until only in like a flashback. His flashback. That's the only time you see it, and then the only time you actually see Johnson as Madame Web is right at the tail end. Cool. Well, all right, and then fucking the studios they can't. Sony can't comprehend that they just make bad movies. They're like, well, I think studios are unfair on Madame Web, or they had some stupid built-in excuse. I'm like, no, if you can't see that's a bad movie, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, and did the same with Craven, which I might talk about later. So yeah, I'm glad we're hopefully out of this universe because they don't know what they're doing. So yeah.
I think going forward, they've only said they're going to literally focus on actual Spider-Man projects. So the final like Spider-Verse movie and maybe a Spider-Man 4 or something like that. So I think they're only going to end that Spider-Man noir series with Nicolas Cage. I think they're actually doing. But yeah, other than that, I think they're getting away from these non-Spider-Man movies because Madame Web is just it's just a misfire. From the opening scene, I was laughing my ass off with just these jungle spider people flying all over the place. They conveniently just just find the spider. Everything's a convenience in this movie. Later, when she goes back to Peru, she wanders into this massive jungle and immediately finds the people she's looking for. I mean, just contrivance after contrivance after contrivance. And yeah, just bad lines, bad scripting. When her weapon of choice is hitting you with a car, that's hilarious because it happens not once but like 3 times in this movie. She's just using cars to plow into people. Yeah, that ADR, I was laughing audibly in the theater when I first saw like him doing his little first monologue, and his mouth isn't matching the words. They couldn't even edit around it. It looked like a kung fu movie, or like some spaghetti western, like an old Clint Eastwood western, where yeah, the people are speaking another language. It's bizarre that it just made it in the theaters in the state that it's in. It feels like an unfinished movie, and yeah, I'm so glad to be kind of done with these movies because it's just gone nowhere, and it's been a complete. People are going to make like video essays for decades on YouTube about the Sonyverse and the failures of it. The Spider-Man-less Spider-Man movies. Yeah, they're gonna be studying these movies for a long time. Yeah, we'll keep going. JPO, you also had Madame Web at number 7.
No, kind of undeniable, like the mess as this movie is. Again, I don't mind the idea of these kind of sideways movies. Like I don't love any of the Venoms, but they're watchable, and at least Tom Hardy kind of is having fun and whatnot. But yeah, man, I heard Craven's bad. I didn't even get to Craven. Again, a Marvel movie that I went, I'll wait. Like that's kind of fucking egregious, but like I did it. And this one I also waited on too, or I think it was both couldn't see it and didn't want to see it. It was a mix of both. Finally did it when it went to Netflix, and boy, oh boy, yeah, just oh man, it's a little shoehorned in performances here, bad ADR, it's a bit of a mess. It's not intriguing. The plot itself is not even all that great. Like even if it had executed in better ways, it's a sloppy movie.
They're both bad, Steven. He's talking about Madame Web or Craven. They're both bad in their own unique ways. Craven also has a piss poor script and a flashback that lasts a half a damn hour. They forget about Aaron Taylor Johnson in that movie. It's bizarrely edited. Yeah, it's also bad, but in kind of different ways. But Wolfman, you also had it.
All right, so I have a little bit of a different experience with Madame Web. So Madame Web was still like my number 9, I think. So I still have it in my 10 worst of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen that film 3 times now. And let me explain. All right. This is why I've seen it 3 times. First time I watched it, yes, it was bad. But I literally fell out of my chair. Like I was actually in the floor laughing at some of the stuff that was in the movie. Like this to me is the Room of comic book movies.
Oh, hey, the room.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Like there is some stuff in here. I never have ever thought I would ever see Isabella Merced ever defibrillate a car, and that was one of the most glorious things I've ever seen in my life. I just was like grinning from ear to ear during that moment. And then as soon as I was out of it, my friend was like, I don't know if I want to see that. I was like, no, you have to see this. You don't understand the level of awful this is. This is like on another level of awful. And he was like, all right, then I'll go see it. And I went to go see it with him. And then my other friend was in town. And I was like, dude, I'm telling you, this is legendary status bad. And he was like, okay, then let's watch it. And we watched it together. I'm telling you, this movie I have a blast with. Is it awful? Yes. But I have a blast with this movie. And I've already kind of cheated Austin because when I went to go see this film the first time, I didn't drive. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to sneak those like small bottles into the theater of like liquor that you buy like your like alcohol stores or whatever. Because I was like, there's no way in hell am I watching this sober. And my theater doesn't sell alcohol. I was like, there's no way in hell am I going to do my first watch of this sober. So I did that during the stupid moments of this movie. And it just made it all the more entertaining for me. Like, there's literally a line where she's like, I didn't realize we were hunting down teenagers. And he's like, they're teenagers now. But when they're older. I was dead.
It makes me wonder if the same person wrote the Craven line where she says, "My grandmother died and I never saw her again."
So, oh my god, it's amazing. I love films like these, but I also hate them. It's a weird balance for me. That's why it's not low on the list, but I still have it on the list. So Adam Webb is like number 9.
All right, another clean sweep, if you will, for both Taro and Madam Webb. All right, so my number 5 was Uglies, which we already discussed. So we are over to JPO for your number 4. That's where we're at.
Let's get in the pool for night swim.
Night swim. All right, go ahead, sir. Yeah, it's like it'd be like in the 20s for me, something like that.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm holding it to a slightly higher standard because like it was the first movie I saw in theaters this year, so I was all excited. Then I saw this. Yeah, I don't know. Even White Russell, I don't think could save the things that could go on in here. The lore is bad. It's another kind of like maybe an okay short film. It's another one where like there's a lady that kind of has clues but won't totally give you all the info. What is with that trope of like somebody that's been through it instead of just explaining it, fucking like gives you like super vague clues.
I know you like this movie, JP. It's just really letterbox, but me and Piers just watched What Dreams May Come. Cuba Gooding Jr. does that all through the movie. And just like, well, you can't
keeping things vague, just vague explanations, not giving you all the information. And it's like, what are you waiting for? We're in the afterlife now. Just fucking say it. What are you gonna make me wait eternity?
I like the visuals, and it's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah. Well, I'm saying that the horror trope though of like, there's no reason they can't just straight up be like, all right, here's what's up, here's what's going on, here's what you maybe could and couldn't do. They're just like, don't do it, or maybe do it. I don't know. Anywho. But yeah, Night Swim is just it's another nothing burger for me.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, much better as a short film. I think the couple that are like that. All right, Wolf, you're number 4.
All right, so I'm like back and forth between my 4 and 3, but right now, if you ask me on another day, it'll be another one. But my number 4 for right now, all of these, by the way, from this point forward, on Letterboxd, I gave them half stars. Like, they're that bad. I didn't even give them, like, a star rating. Like, they're that terrible. So all of these are, like, the worst trash imaginable. And I got together with a friend of mine because I'm an idiot. You know? I'll acknowledge it. And
this is waiting for the title anytime now.
Anytime you want to give me the title, type it in.
And all these public domain movies I have now decided to watch, and this one is called The Mousetrap that I watched.
There we go.
And,
wait, hold on. Well, after that fucking 12-minute thing, punt.
I didn't expect. See, I went on. I didn't expect to have seen it.
As of today, JPO, minor punt. So,
really? Yeah.
I may or may not have watched it this afternoon. So okay, all right. So punt that to hang on, Wolf. Yes, after all that, that's why I tell you give me the title first because it might get punted. All right, even at number 4. All right, so hang on. Richie, you're number 4.
I did my number 4. That was Taro. So
that was Taro. Yes, that is great. Okay, so I'm similar, Wolf, to you in that my top 5 is all like I do out of 10 just on my note app, so they're all 1 out of 10 or less in the case of my number 1. So my number 4 is Founders Day, which was mentioned earlier.
Yep.
So
I have that on my list. I like number 11.
Didn't see. I went to Tubi and watched like something else instead.
Yeah, no, I got you. So yeah,
it should have been a Tubi movie, but it apparently was.
That's where it is now. That's where it is now.
Yeah. That's something you wanted to watch something else on Tubi.
There's some great. I mean, while there is like the Mousetraps on Tubi, like Taxi Drivers on Tubi, like it really.
I know. There's good stuff. Yeah.
So oddly enough, JPO, Night Swim was my number 2 movie only because the first Regal mystery movie, the first week of the year, was Founders Day. So it just beat it by like 2 days or something. So literally my first movie of 2024 was fucking Founders Day. It was the worst. Because Regal had the audacity to put this as their mystery movie. It's going to be bad when the introduction by the cast is done via TikTok. That's really bad that they played before the film. I watched about 70% of the audience walk out by the into this movie. It was a sparsely populated theater. Yeah, it's the worst kind of Scream knockoff you could ever have. I mean, literally, structurally, it's the exact same thing as Scream. The reveals are the same as Scream. The main problem is the tonal shifts and the actual writing in the movie, to where some people in this movie, and Wolf could attest this, the main girl and her dad are in a completely different movie than everybody else. They are trying to be this like deathly serious, they're trying to like win awards for their acting, and they're playing it so serious. But the police chief and the mayor and all the government people are in like a parody film. They're in a completely different, wacky slapstick like parody movie, just like all over the place, like out of a Zucker movie. And so it just completely clashes, where I have no idea what I'm supposed to think about the movie. If I'm supposed to be laughing along, if I'm supposed to be taking this seriously, I don't know, because the actors don't know and the script doesn't know. The villain outfit is fucking ridiculous. It's like a powdered wig and a gavel and shit. Like, what the fuck is going on? It's so stupid. The kills are dumb. And yeah, just logically, the plot just makes no sense. The reveals are really contrived, especially the older teacher that gets involved. His reasons are really stupid for being involved. It's a maddeningly incompetent horror film. So, and it won't be the only horror film. I got one more on the list, but it's very, very bad. But Wolf, you also had it on your list. So go ahead.
Yeah, Founders Day. It's bad when the actual holiday that I was talking about, Founders Day, is in the month of August. And yet they decided to dump this in January. That's how you know it's bad.
This movie's on Tubi now. I'm convinced it was a Tubi movie that just got dumped in the theaters because it was right at the beginning of the writer's strike, and all these movies got bumped till a year later, and they just needed shit for the whatever their mystery movie was. It was one of the movies that got bumped for like a year.
Well,
and they just had to put something up there.
We should have known better, Austin. I mentioned this on the street night. We should have known better, because mystery movies, I mean, for us, it's free, but for those who don't have Regal Unlimited, it's $5. And this one, they were like charging $1 for. It was
they were literally charging $1, and it wasn't even worth that. People walked out for the $1 movie. That's how bad it was. People walked out watching the $1 film. That's how bad it was.
It was, it's on another level bad. And I don't know what my audience was on, because my audience was like, they didn't leave. They were like cracking up at how terrible it was, and all of them were like laughing and having a blast with the movie, it seemed. And I was just like, why are y'all enjoying this? Like, there's some dumb funny moments in here that I'm laughing at, but like, y'all seem to actually be having a good time with this. Like, what is going on? Like, I didn't know what was like this. This movie is utterly nonsensical and terrible, and it's a blatant Scream ripoff, like an awful Scream ripoff. That's just, you can tell it wants to be like Scream, but it just doesn't. It's not nearly as clever, and it has no good kills in there. Like, there's not a memorable kill at all, and it's a slasher movie. It's just and automatically you know a movie's bad when the like introduction to the film that you see in theaters is done through TikTok videos.
That's what I said.
I know, but I'm just like, I gotta reiterate because it's that bad. Like, I heard it, but I gotta reiterate it because it is like terrible that they decided to do that. Like, it's a bad movie. So,
all right. Yeah, Founders Day. Yeah, not good. Yeah, now again, another movie I would have avoided had it not been for the mystery movie. But yeah, all right.
I don't think it ever got released. Maybe I can't find that any.
And even after the mystery movie, when it actually got somewhat released at my Regal, it was like one showing a night for a week, and that was it. Boy, did they hide this movie and give it the most minimal release you could. It was like a 7:30 show once a night. That was it. All right, JPO into the bottom three, man. We're really getting into it now. What you got?
Come on, guys. Let's smoke a doobie and talk Half-Baked 2. Totally high.
All right, I haven't seen it.
Nope, never. I didn't even know they made a Half-Baked.
Well, next time
I told you that. I think
next time you're on your next time you're on your Tubi roll, throw on Half-Baked 2. No, just another like, hey, we got the rights to the title. Anyone want to come back? Chappelle's not coming back. Even Jim Brewer was like, fuck no. They do get Harlan Williams, but I don't think he's that character. It doesn't matter. It's 30 seconds. It's not funny. The girlfriend's in it, but whatever. The Dave Chappelle character evidently has become a really shitty father, and that's the kid in it is his kid. That's always a fun sequel thing. Hey, by the way, that character from the first one ended up being a piece of shit. That's just not funny here. It's bad stoner humor. It's bad also cheap stoner humor too, because like all of a sudden they had Frankie Muniz on set for a day, probably, and they're like, let's make him the villain. But it's done so quickly that you just don't care. It's not funny. It never once made me laugh. Half-Baked 2. It's a real thing.
Yeah, if you look up the director, it's bizarre. I think I pointed this out on Tournament Fights once. So the director just makes bad Marlon Wayans movies. It's literally all it is. It's the guy who made the two haunted house films. Made 50 Shades of Black, that shitty movie. Then a movie called Naked from 2017, and a movie called Sextuplets from 2019. Sextuplets.
Yeah, he's the guy. He's Marlon Wayans' boy. Which, by the way, I recommend all of those more than this. Legit, and I've seen all of those.
Okay, well, fair enough. And they're all bad.
I grew up a big Marlon and Sean fan because of the Wayans brothers TV show.
Sure.
So I mean, they are a deep dive into Marlon.
That is official that they're coming back for another scary movie, though, right? Like the Wayans.
Yeah, they got the rights back. Yeah, it's going to be the Wayans producing them. Who knows if it falls through? Like, for whatever reason later on. But right now, it's in their hands. So.
Okay, yeah, we'll see where it goes, because I know it went from like the Wayans to like the Zucker family, and now it's like back to the Wayans. So yeah, it's kind of bizarre. But we'll see what happens there. All right, Wolf, we are on to your number 3.
All right, so I guarantee you these next 3 are not on any of your lists, because I don't think y'all like. There was a phrase in my life. I swear I was like depressed or something, because I was just going through Tubi movies like crazy, and so these next 3 are like straight to Tubi kind of films. But the one I'm going to mention is one called No New Friends, and
joking. I don't know what that is.
It's my number 1. JP's number 1.
So it's ironic. It's like the opposite this year, because my best of list will have a lot more notable movies that y'all would recognize. Yeah, because of like all the two movies. So this one called No New Friends is terrible, because it is about a group of friends who have a reunion 10 years later of a childhood friend of theirs that like passed away, and so they go to this cabin to kind of like remember them or whatever. It's like an Airbnb that they go to or whatever. And the film was 66 minutes, so I was like, all right, I'll watch it, because it's 66 minutes. It's pretty short, I'll get it over with. I think I watched it before it was even on Tubi, so I like rented this shit, and I like regretted that. And
why would you?
So basically, you get the idea that like the main character is here to commemorate a friend. And I can use this word because y'all aren't monetized yet. Basically, the main character was raped, and what happened was
he's not monetized. Damn.
Because the person,
well, we're not going to if you keep dropping all this. All right,
thanks. But like the person who did that to her is like dating one of the other characters in the movie, and they basically are like, it's a whole movie about them basically saying, "Hey, you need to get a hold of yourself, okay? I love him." And it's like, you just need to like calm down. Like, yeah, he did. That's the poster right there.
Holy shit! Why would you even? Why would you click on this?
Because it was 66 minutes.
I see movies like this at the dregs of like the free section of like Vudu, like those free with ad sections. I see shit like this all the time, and I never click on them. Like,
I'm curious to what the other 2 are. Anyway,
why would you bother?
That's number 3. Y'all. Yeah. Done.
It's just something that I was like, again, I was like, oh, if I see movies that are 60 minutes or barely over, I'm like, I gotta make up the time. I gotta make it up and put it on my list. And this one was awful. And it's low budget when at the end there's a shootout, but they actually couldn't afford to have guns in the people's hands, so they're literally using finger guns and shooting at people.
Oh, come on!
Sparks
And
actually
this is 3.
coming
Come on.
out of people's fingers. Like you see sparks actually coming out of their fingers and everything because they couldn't afford like actual guns on set.
I made a short film called Loose Cannon Cop 7. There's no one to 6. And we had fake guns. Like, what the fuck? Come on. What?
Yeah. Like, this shit was terrible. Like it was awful. So yeah. Not a good one.
I did a Tubi podcast, and I'll probably avoid this one. I did a Tubi podcast.
I've literally seen movies like this, and a lot of them look the same. And it's like there's a whole section of movies on the Voodoo Free with Ads. They're like these they're like Black Friend hangout movies. Like that's all it looks like, and they're all like erotic, like thriller things where each one is having like love triangles or threesomes or whatever. And even then, I still don't click on them. Like I'm just like no, because you know it's gonna be shit.
It's the ones that would cut that maybe like would come out in like theaters in like maybe October. It's like has Morris Chestnut or you're very.
But they're like low budget versions of that. They're even lower than that.
Yeah.
Like I swear this didn't even cost $100.
Yeah, don't besmirch the name Morris Chestnut with episode searching him with this.
Yeah. He's playing Watson right now in a hospital or something. I saw a commercial for that somewhere during a football game. All right, Richie, you're number 3.
Yeah. My grandma died and I never saw her again. That's right. I got Craven on here.
All right.
I have Craven higher than Madam Web because I had more fun with Madam Web. I think Craven is less fun. I think it gets fucking dull and boring. Like this what I mentioned. It's like there's the opening scene of it when he's like like escaping prison. That's kind of cool. But like Sony put that whole scene out for free on their YouTube channel. It's like, okay, cool. All right, you just have the best part of your movie on there. Then it just quickly just has a flashback for like probably like half an hour, and it's a guy that a younger Craven that you're supposed to think is Craven, but he looks nothing like Aaron Taylor Johnson at all. And it's so the lore is so ridiculous, so boring that the acting is bad, and then there's plot points that they just kind of drop. Like it's like he's got like a kill list. It's like cool, and then I don't know. He just drops the idea.
He claims multiple times that he's the best in the world at hunting down people, yet he needs this random lawyer's help to hunt down somebody. It makes no sense. You immediately go back on your premise.
Once he meets a lawyer, he gives up on his list. He has his list. So, okay, cool. And Craven the Hunter, in the comic book, he's like a hunter, he's like this animal rights activist in this movie. It's weird. But it's whatever. And then the bad dialogue. Again, Russell Crowe. He's like, I'll give him credit. He's the only one doing a Russian accent. That's another thing. It's supposed to be Russia. Craven speaks Russian, but most of the time he's American. I mean, that's never explained. And then they set things up at the end. You're like, okay, well, you're not getting a sequel. You're not getting a sequel, man. And then they don't. He's never really the poster where he's got all the whole garb and the outfit. You barely see that. I'll just say that you barely see that. It's like the Man and Web thing. You barely see the man's the actual character. It is ridiculously. What's her name? Ariana DeBose, the person who does.
She's bad in this movie. She's bad.
She is so terrible in this movie. It's horrendous. And then she. They briefly mention. She briefly mentions she has she's good with arrows and stuff, and then immediately pays it off the next scene. I'm like, okay, there's no, I don't know.
That's not how you do setups and payoffs. It's not mentioning it the scene before you use it. that's not how a setup and payoff works. You gotta set that up at like the beginning of the movie. Or how about when she was a kid with the grandma? Maybe the grandma's showing her how to shoot arrows and hunt or something.
Yeah.
So maybe she has some hunting experience out there or whatever. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Something. Ever shooting a snake with an arrow off the porch or something, anything, and you would establish that. That's how you would work.
Yeah. And they set up a sequel, and I was like, no, and they knew this was going to be bad because the director's like, well, I think we should give the, producers like, well, I think they should give Craven a chance. And I'm like, no, you know this movie's gonna suck, And then they blamed like the social media buzz for this movie being bad. No, this movie is just bad. It's a bad made movie with a horrible script. There's I know a lot of amateur screenwriters who write better dialogue than this. Like no one checked the lines that don't make sense. I don't know how does it go through all these people. But yeah, this movie sucks.
All right. Well, Richie's number 3 is Craven the Hunter. I believe mine might still get punted because it might be JPO's number 1, I think. So if that's the case, I'm not sure if he's still here. My number 3 is The Mousetrap. I think it's his number 1. Punt. There we go. So that's what I thought. That's what I thought. If I remember, because JPO and I did do a stream of Jacob Barber on, if I was recalling that correctly. All right. So, but JPO, if that's the case, then we are on to your number 2. So we know what your number 1 is, but you got to hit us with your number 2.
Imaginary.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Hey.
Yeah. Well, Richie number 2 is on my list as well.
Richie, you start. I'm setting up. You start.
Okay, so yeah.
All right.
Well, me and Richie, me and you will go, and then we'll get back around to JPO and things. So, yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. So again, we didn't. I guess we didn't have high hopes. This is Jeff Wadlow, who doesn't do good movies. But yeah, this sort of came around the same time as If, this
Punch. Oh, sorry. Spoiler alert.
This movie is just like shockingly bad. It doesn't even take. It takes so long to get going too. Because it's just like, oh, this this girl has this has this bear, and then but it takes like ages for this. Finally you get this. There's the twist of what the bear ultimately means, and the significance of the bear. But then you got is it? I can't remember then you got the trope of the old lady who's talking in vagues again, who somehow just coincidentally, babysit her when she's a kid and just happens to move next door. And then it becomes this just horrendous, boring, Five Nights at, not Five Nights, I don't know, Nightmare on Elm Street, rip off bullshit, or this Five Nights at Freddy's sort of, it's so the acting is horrendous, the special effects are bad. It's just none of it makes kind of sense, and it's just it felt so long as well. This movie is and I don't even know how long it is, but I hated this movie. It was just it was so shockingly done, and I hope they stop giving Jeff Wadlow money because I don't think he's made a good movie.
No, but they'll keep doing it because again, this movie I think cost $10 million and $13 million budget, and worldwide scraped up $43 million. So it squeaked out a profit. So Blumhouse will keep giving them $10 million to make another movie. It's on my list, just a little lower. Again, probably just because it was earlier in the year. But yeah, I'm with you. I've ranted about Jeff Wadlow as well. I think he's yet to make a good movie, and I just don't think he's a very good filmmaker. This movie takes forever to get going. Holy shit! It takes 45 minutes for anything to happen in this movie. I was so bored.
The actual twist at the end, it's like an hour.
Jesus.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, by the time you you get to that world, yeah, you're an hour and 25 minutes like into the movie, and you're just like, oh my god. It did have one of my biggest laughs of the year when the old lady gets killed. It's a very funny death. That kind of comes out of nowhere. That one was funny, so that gave me an extra point because I did laugh. But yeah, I mean, it's bizarre, like how the chemistry doesn't work. I think the girl. God bless her. She's trying, but like she's given really silly lines to say, and the mom is not very good either. The trope of the old lady just bugs the shit out of me because I saw it literally like a month later with Tarot, and I'm just over that trope of this mysterious lady who talks in vagaries, and you go into her house and she's drawn paintings of everything and like what the fuck like she's obsessed with it obviously but refuses to share the information. Okay. That's just dumb. And she practically like walks up to the girl and she's just like hello, like she doesn't quite say it but she might as well just be like hello, I used to babysit you and know exactly what's happening to you. Okay, bye. And just leaves. And then there's a subplot with a neighbor kid that has like placebo drug pills that they just drop and it goes nowhere and you never see him again. And you think it's going to go somewhere and he just pieces out of the movie. And you just never see him again. They're just like they forgot about that plot point. Like we'll just leave that alone. That didn't go anywhere. Yeah, it's another just shit movie from Wadlow, man. Like, and I'm sure he'll have another movie in another, by next year or so, and we'll just from the director of Imaginary or whatever the fuck they'll say, and they'll just say from the studio that brought you, because I hate that trope too. From the studio that brought that means nothing, by the way. Stop that shit. That doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. Because Blumhouse has made just as much garbage as they've made like hidden gems, like or decent, horror movies. They made just as much shit. That's a really
big cop out. Studio. I was on my friend studio and to an extent degree producer of.
Yeah, Blumhouse means nothing anymore because Blumhouse made Imaginary, Tarot, and Night Swim this year, so it means nothing anymore. So yeah, that doesn't mean shit.
Somebody's from a director of a good Blumhouse movie, I might be sold, right?
But yeah, JPO, you had a number 2. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so it's old for you. It's actually one of the more recent ones for me. I waited until my 99-cent subscription of Stars was like, all right, you can watch it now. Yeah, dude, almost like what you said with Founders Day. This felt very directed DVD for me here, like the way it's shot, the acting. I didn't really love to a large degree. Takes forever to get going, and then even once we got going, I was also ready for it to wrap up. Like I remember, it's like any good movie, it's gonna try to have a twist on a twist, like we're finally out, or are we, kind of thing. But I was like, I don't give a fuck, just move on. Let's get out.
Imaginary 2. I don't want Imaginary 2.
No, and there very well might be, even if it's direct to video, like I could see that happening, if not sneaking into a theater again. So yeah, oh god, just another man, as much as we're in a renaissance of horror sometimes, there's always ones like this, which I guess is true for any genre, but damn, there's some bad horror this year.
Yeah, no, that's what I told Wolf because everybody was touting us like, oh, 2024, great year for horror. I'm like, you must have forgot about the first half of the year because boy, there was some shit in the first half of the year. You can't discount the whole half of the year.
Mousetrap, Night Swim, Tarot, this all fucking Strangers, all theatrical, baby, all got major releases.
Yeah, but yeah, Wadlow, for Steven because he's talking about Cry Wolf. Yes, he did direct Cry Wolf, which I would contend is a bad movie. But yeah, Cry Wolf. Never Back Down, the bad MMA movie. Richie and I con on that.
That might be his best, actually.
It's still bad, but it's corny. Kick-Ass 2, just lackluster sequel.
Oh, that might be his best.
Maybe. Yeah. He directed True Memoirs of an International Assassin, the Kevin James movie, which I know JP is probably familiar with. He directed Truth or Dare. Yeah, Truth or Dare, another shitty PG-13, generic, Lucy Hale movie, and Fantasy Island, which was the last movie. Dude, that movie's horrendous, and that's one of the last movies I saw before the COVID theater shut down. So that was ending on a really bad note because I saw that movie and the theater shut down a week later. That sucked. And I guess he made another Netflix movie. I have never seen it. Maybe JPO has because The Curse of Bridge Hollow with Marlon Wayans.
Marlon Wayans one.
Yeah,
he's also that's actually one I really didn't get enough. I didn't get around to.
Okay. You're my go-to guy for all these random Netflix movies because I know you check them out.
Kevin James one. That's a Netflixer. Saw that.
Oh yeah. So I guess he
theatrical actually.
I guess he had a Netflix thing for a little while, or I guess kind of off and on. So all right. Okay, so we are on to number 2. If Wolf is there, I know he might be doing something. If not, we'll just scoot it around. Oh, Wolf, join us. All right, we'll come back around to his number 2. Richie, your number 2 was imaginary, so we just discussed that one. So we'll move on to my number 2, and we'll come back to Wolf. My number 2 is I know some people will not agree. I've seen people tout it. JPO knows it already. It is If, the other imaginary movie. I did not like this movie at all. I'm so this. I just have to put it on here because it was the mainstream movie. There's always one mainstream movie that just pisses me off, and last year was Wonka. It was movies like this. I hate this fake whimsy trope in movies that is becoming like a thing of just forced, magical shit that I just think is unearned. I hated the fact that we just jump right into this movie and immediately this girl, she has no reaction to finding out that imaginary people are real and creatures are real. She just rolls right with the punches. They take her to the secret headquarters or whatever. She immediately knows how to inception all of this shit and just like do things with this world. No explanation on how she knows how to do any of this. No explanation on how anything works, how the imaginary friends work, why they're where they are. It gives you nothing. Nothing. Bad music sequences like in the middle of the movie. I feel like the John Krasinski plot line is just like out of a completely different movie. The whole like cancer plot line that he has is bizarre. I just thought it was bizarre and did not need to be in the movie at all. It's only there so she can like check in with him every now and then, I guess, so he can direct the movie instead of being in front of the camera. I don't know, because even he pieces out of his own movie for like long stretches of time where I forget he's even in it. This movie just it was maddening to me. I don't understand who this movie is for. I when I saw it in the theater, in the same row, there was a mom and a daughter who was like 6 years old. So I glanced over at Ellen to see like if they were getting any reactions. The 6-year-old was bored. The mom was bored. I was bored. I don't know who this was for because they were all bored as well. And the supposed twist of the movie with Ryan Reynolds is something you totally see coming an hour before it happens. It's supposed to be like this big revelation, and it's not. And then again, when we do things with the imaginary characters at the end of the movie, people have zero reaction to them as well. There's literally a scene where, this woman's dragon friend like pops up on her car, and she just goes, "Oh, that's cute." There's a fucking dragon on your car. Like, there's an animated dragon on your car. Have some kind of reaction. My God. And that just pissed me off even more. So fuck this movie. I hated this movie. Fuck it. If is my number 2. Fucking hated this movie. Screw it.
Like, I feel like that there was that sort of, they were trying to set up like, kind of cute friendship between him and this like the Asian boy that was in the hospital, and then they kind of they dropped it. They don't really go back to it. Like, oh man, like, okay.
That plot line goes nowhere. They're like auditioning imaginary friends for the kid. They never pick one out for him, and then we just like never see him again. It's just like, what? Okay, well that was a montage that went nowhere. Thanks for that, appreciate it. All right, back to the movie.
I'm in the minority here, but I actually was kind of pleasantly surprised by If. I thought it was,
of course you were,
a cute, fun movie that was like actually heartfelt and had emotional moments in there. And Ryan Reynolds wasn't doing the same old shtick. He was actually trying to do a dramatic performance in there, which was like at least he isn't playing Deadpool, at least, so it's not the exact same role that he's been playing for like years and years and years now. So yeah.
All right. Well, I bypassed you for a second, Wolf, because you left the screen for a minute. So we'll come back to you. What was your number 2?
So my number 2 is another Tubi movie.
Is Baby Oopsie 3?
Yeah. How did you know? No. This one is called. This one is even better. It's called Death Web from the amazing from the amazing director Sebastian Dove, whose only other movie is Ghost Webcam. So basically the exact same movie.
Death what?
Death Web. So Yeah.
Okay.
So that is
Okay.
the,
I'll pull up the poster here in a minute. Sure.
yeah. So my friend who is like my movie buddy, who I go see a bunch of movies with, I was like, "Why is this on this?" Because he watches a lot of TV movies as well.
See, even Carol agrees with me. A million plot holes in that movie that fucking pissed me off. All right. Anyways.
But it was like 64 minutes with ads. Sure, I'm spending like maybe 65, 66 minutes on it, So it's not like terrible. And I was like, okay, so I'll go see this. So I'll check out this one. And basically, this is a synopsis I'm going to read for you on Letterboxd. So, as a fearless young live streamer and Alan, expert in the occult, embark on a journey that transcends the boundaries of living and the dead. A journey into the unknown where every click, every scream takes
Why would you click on this? Why would you click on this? Like this looks like the shittiest AI. This looks like the shittiest AI fucking bullshit poster. Why would you click on this movie?
Because again, it was like slightly over 60 minutes, and I was like, I can get this done and just add it to the list, and it was like something.
So it's one of these movies that was done via Zoom, like Unfriended, like what?
Yeah, it was done literally on the computer.
I thought that was a trope we did like in 2017. That was a thing for like, I swear we were done with that. And like maybe you brought it back for COVID because that's all you had. But are we still doing this?
I mean, hey, searching and missing does it well. But then there's a few other, and they don't even call them found footage movies. It's like Screen Life or whatever it is. It's like weird, but. It's basically this girl goes on this like website and she sees the ghost and it looks just like JPO's pillow there, except
it looks like Danhausen's mother. That screenshot.
Except it's like
Mother, shall we curse that mother?
it's like
guess what, Danhausen.
Well, okay. What makes this poster even better? What makes the poster even better is that's not even in the movie. The ghost.
Oh, that's great.
The ghost that you see, in the film is literally like a pixelated video game character.
It's like the bullshit VHS covers in the 80s that would lie to you about shit that was in the movies that wasn't actually in the movies when you see like horror movies in the 80s.
And there's like all these fake websites she goes on and she sees like this pixelated video game character moving on the screen. She's like, oh my god, it's coming closer to the screen, and she's like freaking out or whatever. It's like the whole movie basically. And it is, this is absolutely terrible. The acting was atrocious, and just the dialogue was atrocious, and just everything about it. And like the dude was a freaking like occult like specialist, and he was like, I have never seen this before. Oh my god, I can't believe this pixelated character is like coming at the screen right now and doing that. Oh my god, this is like nothing like I've ever seen. I'm like, dude, you're like
from the director of Ghost Webcam. That also looks like shit. What the fuck? Why? Again, this is the kind of shit I scroll by and don't even think twice about it, Wolf, on like these streams. I scroll right by and I go, oh, that movie was made for $12. Like, I'm not watching that. I'm not watching that. Like,
Well, you need to value your life more.
Please. Do you need help? Like, we need to find you a hotline. Like, there's no reason to subject yourself to this.
Hey, someone's got to take one for the team, right? You know?
No, man, I didn't. I would never.
No, my number one is something I took for the entire community. Okay. My number one is that. All right, I did it so you didn't have to.
I don't think there's ever an assignment for you to watch the movies I didn't know existed until right about 5 minutes ago. So,
yeah.
But hey, now that you know they exist, you have all the more reason not to watch them.
I wasn't going to anyway.
Jesus. All right.
I'm looking forward to your number one.
All right, I already forgot Death Web. Okay, I was like, what's the name of that movie? Okay, yeah. Anyways, so, all right, Death Web. Holy shit! All right, okay, so that was your number 2. All right, we are wrapping it up here. JPO, we are down to your number 1. I believe we've punted it far enough. It is time to talk about, I believe, the Mousetrap. So kick it off, sir.
God.
Yeah.
Oh God. So I had Winnie the Pooh on my honorables, but holy shit, does that movie at least kind of get what it's going for? Like, I can't egregiously hate it. This movie is it's so bad. It's so bad. Like I mentioned on our show that we did, Pez, like, there's a scene where she sees the villain, she runs away, runs into her friends, and then just drops it. Like, never once goes, hey, wait, guys, there's like a dude in a mask that's like kind of big in the other room. Like,
she brings it up like 20 minutes later. She's like, "Oh, by the way, there was a weird dude. Like, I think it was the manager, like creeping on me." Like 20 minutes later,
and even that is like unexplained. Like, is it the manager gone crazy? No, I guess he kind of got like mind fucked, but you didn't really tell us how or why. You don't have the budget, so several kills are like off screen or there's nothing to do. So you're saving up for like the 1 or 2 kills you kind of have a budget for. You have this weird need to do like a Tarantino wraparound where you keep going back to the future with the girl in the jail cell. And holy shit, if you think the acting in the arcade is bad, wait for the jail cell people to talk. Like, they don't know how to interact.
And those scenes just go on and on,
unnecessary,
and on. Fucking hell.
The rules they set up, they don't totally follow through. And then finally, with the ending with the final girl, to me was a big fuck you. Because just to show, because it's one of those, like, I feel like they're like, yeah, I get it. There are no rules, or I don't know. But it just makes me feel like, what was the fucking point then? Oh God, it's just, the scene with the guys in the bars is dumb and, unnecessary. Yeah, just the epitome of, we got a title, we can do this Mickey thing. Like, originally it was Mickey's Mousetrap, and then I think Disney was like too fucking far, the Mickey part. Like, it might be. So yeah, this is dreadful.
I'm looking forward to 2025 when you talk about Popeye the Slayer Man.
It depends. If they can at least have like a gory kill and like know what it is.
We're getting a couple of those movies because literally we're getting the Popeye movie. Screamboat is another Steamboat Willie coming out, but that one actually has David Howard Thornton and some of the Terrifier people like attached to it, so it might be.
But from the director of the Mean One, so
from the director of the Mean One, which is not great, but it's better than this. And then we're literally this week. I might be seeing it on Wednesday. We're getting Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. It's coming out. It's got the Fathom event this week, so we'll see. So that Poonaverse is alive. This is not part of it though. Yeah, the Poonaverse is what they're calling it. Yeah, but it's not this and the Popeye movie are not part of it. It's the Poonaverse is the Peter Pan and Bambi, the Bambi movie that's coming out later this year as well. So, and Winnie the Pooh 3, obviously. But yeah, Wolf, you also had it. I had it. So go ahead.
Yeah, this movie was terrible. I watched it on the cock. It was on the cock one day.
Yeah.
And I was just like with my friend, and I was like, hey, let's be idiots together and watch another one of these public domain films. I remember when Mickey Mouse became public domain, immediately, literally, like 5 seconds after they announced it, this trailer dropped. And I was like, were y'all just like preparing for this to drop or something?
Yeah. I've heard the director talk. Like, that really was what happened. Like, they were like, oh, that's the domain, let's hurry up and shoot this movie. We can kind of strike while it's hot. Like, before they had a screenplay. I was like, this is the epitome of the idea before actually writing it.
Yeah, which is always what you don't want to do. You don't want to just take an idea before it even happens and just completely try to be the first one to do it. You want to take your time with it. But yeah, this movie was terrible, and y'all didn't even mention the like god awful. I feel bad for a person on my channel who we're going to be doing our worst of the year, and I tested him. He's like, "What movie should I watch?" I was like, "The Mousetrap," and I regret it today because he like tested me, and he said like, "Dude, the opening minute bit of that film was the hardest thing to sit through." Like it's 20 minutes of a credit scroll. It's trying to do the whole Spaceballs thing where it's like, oh, let's just spend this amount of time just showing this one thing over and over again. Maybe this will be.
They're like explaining the movie for like 10 minutes. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? Yeah, with the fake Star Wars scroll.
And it's like it literally just a Star Wars scroll, and it just like explains to you the whole movie. And it's like, this is not copyright. Hey guys, I want you to remember, we don't own this product. It's like that, but in a credit scroll. I'm like, dude, no, like, why are y'all doing this? This is stupid and pointless and not even funny. And like the kills weren't even that interesting. None of the characters were likable. The only thing I'll say about this movie is that like Goth Girl or whatever was kind of hot, like, you know, whatever that they were interviewing. But like other than that, literally everything about this movie. Well,
I can go to suicidegirls.com if I need to look at hot goth chicks.
That's a throwback reference that's still around. Yeah,
it's still a site. Not that I visit it.
Not that I know anything about that.
But I don't want to see any more of it. Made me not want to see any more of these public domain garbage, awful slasher.
Yeah.
So
no, it did. It actually has almost turned me off. Like I'll wait now for. I'll finish Winnie the Pooh just because I kind of I started 2/3.
Don't worry,
I'll kind of wait and see.
I'll go to the theater and watch it for you, JP. I'll let you know if they're getting any better.
Well, if you enjoy it again, I'll watch it. But
I
don't know the everything else. I'm like I am taking a step back now because I'm like I don't know this one's so.
At least you know those Poonaverse movies. Peacock is picking them all up, so they'll be on Peacock like after they pop them at theaters. So you can just wait for them if you have to. I watched it literally today. I posted something on our Lonely Marks group. I was like, "Holy shit, this is like the longest 80-minute movie I've ever seen." Like it just, holy god, dude, it's one of those 80-minute movies that just drags on and on and on. Those interrogation scenes, they just cut back to them every 3 minutes and they add nothing to the movie. They even within the movie, they're like, how did you know any of this stuff was going on when you were like in the laser tag? And she's like, I'm gonna need you to get all the way off my back about that.
Yeah, it's more they can't explain it.
We can't explain it.
There's even a scene where like she should be dead, but she's not, and I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, she's like vague something about cameras, but then they also say that the cameras are cut. Like they can't even get their own story straight. Like you said, the killer, he's blinded by flashlights, but except when he is not for plot convenience, and when he just bypasses that and kills him anyways.
They're like, now we don't need to.
Yeah, the teleporting thing is weird because it's just like out of nowhere. He can literally. It's not like a Jason Takes Manhattan thing where you're like, how did he get from there to there that fast? Like he literally teleports in this movie. No explanation as to why he can do that. Why does having Steamboat Willie possession powers make you teleport? I don't know. He doesn't teleport in the cartoons. That don't make no goddamn sense. It's just a dude wearing a hockey jersey with a fucking Mickey Mouse mask. It's the most stupidly absurd thing.
And his beard is sticking out of the
it's really stupid. And certain people he like kills, certain people he doesn't for no reason. The girl's like we're in the virtual reality thing, and he's just like fucking with her, but then just leaves her alone. Like it just and then the movie just ends. They literally just have nothing else. Like one character gets killed, the other three characters are like, oh man, that sucks. Credits, and then just that's where it ends because we don't have anything else. We ran out of money, I guess, or they probably ran out of time at the little Dave & Buster place they were filming it at in Canada. It's just like, hey guys, listen, that's enough of that. You guys have been filming here for a week. Get the fuck out of here. We're done with you. You're not gonna film here anymore from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Like fuck off. And they just like ran out of time. Is literally what it feels like. Yeah, it's shit. I didn't have it in my thing with JPO my list initially, but I watched it today, and it's pretty piss poor. So it's bad. So yeah, all right. Well, let's keep it rolling here. Wolf, what is your 2B number one that we don't fucking know? I've never heard of.
All right. Well, first off, the good news is
sadness, depression, the movie.
I did not watch this one on 2B. All right, I watched this one free on YouTube, and it's bad when the publisher of the film deletes it on YouTube after all the comments. So y'all can never watch this film now because he just deleted it on YouTube. And it is called, and I'll spell it out for you so you can spell it because it's a weird title. The Gokuya tapes. And how you spell it is GOCUYYEH and then tapes.
Gokuya? What the fuck? So how do you stumble? You don't just stumble across the like your algorithm. Your algorithm is
one more time.
So what this movie is?
Spell it one more time. I want to hear.
Yeah, spell it one more time. The Gokuya tapes. Yeah, spell it one more time.
It is spelled GOCUYYEH and then tapes.
I don't even see it on IMDb. Does this movie even exist? Are you sure you didn't watch like you didn't have a fever?
It is on Letterboxd.
No. You were sick. You had a fever nightmare, and you imagined this movie into existence.
That is it on Letterboxd right there. The Gokuya tapes.
I cannot even.
I don't think I have ever seen.
No,
it has eight people have seen this.
I've
never seen a lower number on Letterboxd.
It is, yeah. It's got 5 reviews. It's got 8. It's got 5 1.5 reviews. And like 1. Who the fuck gave it 5 stars? I guess it's like the director.
That's the director of the movie.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
there's no doubt in my mind that's the director or one of the actors.
Okay. Yeah, yes. It has to be that case because like
this movie doesn't even exist on Google. Like, where the fuck did you even find this? You Google it, and even Google is like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But anyway, I got nothing. Look, I spelled it. Look, I'm going to show you this right here on camera. I'm going to show you this. Let me blow myself up. I spelled it exactly how you spell it. The Gokuya tapes, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then we're out of responses. We don't know what you're talking. We're at the end of the page. We don't know what you're talking about. This movie doesn't exist, Wolf. You made this up. You dreamed this. It's a nightmare.
Well, and then I don't know what to explain to that YouTube link and the Letterboxd on here, but but it's such a low budget movie that they hid this movie after all the reception because this film, I watched it, and it is basically these 2 girls who are trying to explore this haunted prison, right? And so it's a found footage style movie. And it's shot from 2 phones. And so what they do in the movie is they repeat the exact same footage that you literally just saw, but on the other phone. Because it's like, oh, but you guys didn't see it from the other girl's phone. So let's repeat the exact same footage. And it is literally that, the entire movie. It was 1 clip and then the exact same clip, but from the other girl's point of view. And it is that the whole film, and then on top of that, there is like their idea of scares is that there is a black blanket outside that starts flying around, and then it's on the ground, and they like walk up to it. They're like, "What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that?" And they like lift it up, and they see this baby doll, literally a plastic baby doll that you can find at like the fucking Goodwill. Is inside.
Bing.
Bing, yeah. See, Bing had it right there. So it is. They open up this black blanket. They open up this black blanket, and there's this plastic Goodwill doll that you could just buy from any store that is inside there, and they literally start running away, screaming like it is the worst thing that they've ever seen imaginable. And that is the level of scares that you're dealing with in this horror movie. Did
you watch a 16-year-old student film?
Yeah.
It pretty much felt like that.
It's not okay. It's not on IMDb, what we all use, right? Which has everything, but it's on the movie DB, like the knockoff. Like I searched it on Yahoo. I didn't even know this was like the movie DB. Like it's like, you know what that's like? That's like getting knocked up when he's like trying to make the knockoff of Mr. Skin. He's like, we're gonna, make a thing, and he doesn't know Mr. Skin exists. It's like somebody else made a movie IMDb. It doesn't know IMDb exists.
That's when you just know that this is such a low budget and just terrible terrible awful movie, but it can't even make it out on IMDb.
So
But
if I ask Jeeves, would he know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
but the way that their logic of like how iPhones work is it'll literally go to static, like those old cameras that you see from back in the day. It'll literally like several times will go to static and will like fuzz out on you, and you can't even see the shit that's happening on the screen. And I'm like, that's not even what iPhones can do. There's literally not a piece of technology in the iPhone that can do that. Like, it's terrible. So this is awful. And unfortunately, y'all can't see it anymore on YouTube unless it's on like Vimeo or
Oh
something.
man, I was just on bated breath, like waiting to watch it. But
Yeah, I
I'm
can't
so
see it.
disappointed.
I can't see
Jeez.
it anymore because I believe it's your fever dream. I don't think it happened.
Yeah, I don't think that happened. This isn't real. Like this is something that this is the glitch in the matrix. You willed it into existence, and now it like half exists on
YouTube's
the
like,
internet.
I don't know what you want.
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't know.
YouTube
I searched on Yahoo and got a few more, things, but I gotta find where's the 5-star review? Because I almost want to read that. It's got to be the director, right? Oh no, they didn't write it though. They just gave it 5 stars.
Yeah,
There's 2 written reviews that they're both half stars. So.
Yeah.
I will say I was looking forward to your number 1, and you didn't disappoint. That was very good.
No, kudos to you, man. You set a new low. All right, well there you go. Who we get?
The lowest low that you all have probably ever had on podcast.
Yeah,
tapes.
So low that it's on the low of internet. You can't.
I thought I was prideful when I would go to a movie and do that. I'm one of like 100-something people that have seen this. You're one of 8.
Yeah,
Double digits.
I think my number 1, I may have been like one of 10 people who saw it in theater that weekend, given the box office. But like, yeah, I thought I had seen something. Yeah. All right, Richie, you're number 1.
You feel disappointing after that, but anyway. My number 1 is Borderlands.
We can talk about it now because I have that number. 8.
Oh yeah, Wolf also has it. Yes.
Yeah. So this movie is a catastrophic failure on every level. Just look, it's based. The person who did the casting, I don't think has seen the game. They just like, they had this budget. It's like, look at all this money we got to play with. Who's huge in Hollywood? Kevin Hart. Money. Who do we get to play this character?
Who would be perfect for the 20-year-old video game character? Kate Blanchett at 56 years old.
Money. We'll get. I mean, Jack Black to do the voice. Well, I kind of get that idea, but like he was annoying. So money. He comes out with money, and then just like every one of these people were miscast to shit, and like it's like the story, whatever story, I was not invested. Yeah, Kevin Hart trying to be like serious, whatever, and then it's like this whole time, and then but you're supposed to take him seriously, but then within 5 minutes, I think the chick makes a joke that he's short. Well, you just kind of emasculated him straight away, and it's just nonsensical. You can one of the writers, goes by a pseudonym because he didn't want to be attached to this film. Eli, it was like an Eli Roth film that obviously, I don't know what that don't know what he was thinking here. I don't think anyone in this project has played Borderlands, or very vaguely played Borderlands. There's a great world of Borderlands. It's like if you've ever played the games and then even seen or played the Telltale game called Tales of the Borderlands, there is a story to be told here. And just when we thought video game movies are sort of getting on track a little bit, Sonic 3 is supposed to be really good. Mortal Kombat movies are good, but this is just okay, now we can't have nice things. Borderlands is still is a box office disaster. This is also kind of like Man, it's going to be one that people study of box office bombs and how it came to be. This could be its own documentary. I feel like there's stories here that maybe cast can't talk about at the moment, but I feel like they're probably got stories that none of the cast feel like they want to be here. Jamie Lee Curtis is miscast her. I'm like, what is she doing in this movie? And yeah, I hate what it. Like, what I did not know what I was watching. This is just a mess on every conceivable level. And probably I was more offended by this than like someone like Madam Web, because at least I didn't know much about like character of Madam Web, so I wasn't as offended. But like considering I've played the games and I'm like, this is nothing like you don't gaslight me, tell me this is Borderlands. It's not Borderlands. So yeah, it is number one.
All right, yeah, Wolf.
First, so before I get into my thoughts, yeah, I sent it to my friend a while ago, and this is what it says now on YouTube. When you try to click on what I tried to click on,
unavailable.
Yeah, video unavailable. So I was like, I'm like, shit, I'm literally like, it's like a rarity item now. But yeah, Borderlands. I watched it actually tonight because I was like, I've not seen it yet, and I was like, I know I'm going to be on this podcast of the worst of the year, so I might as well watch it. And it instantly made my worst of the year list. This was terrible. I am someone who's a big fan of the game. I've played games just when I thought video game movie curse was over with Sonic and The Last of Us Season 1 and like Detective Pikachu and all these other fun like video game movies coming out. This one comes out and shows, oh no, there's still a little bit of that video game movie curse still intact. So this was awful. Lilith who's like 20 something years old in the game, is fucking 60 years old in this movie. even though she's like played by like Cate Blanchett, who's like the greatest actor in my opinion, that doesn't save this movie.
She's just phoning it in.
She's literally just phoning it in. She's terrible. And then Kevin Hart is just he doesn't even seem like he wants to be there. Jack Black is annoying as shit. Like, I'm sorry, but like, is this going to be Jack Black's career now? Is just going to be casted in like video game movies, Super Mario Bros, and then Borderlands, now Minecraft. Like, this is his whole career now. After he started a video game YouTube channel, like now it's like this is his whole career. He's just going to be in video game movies this whole rest of his life, and it's just he's annoying as shit in this movie. He like Claptrap is funny. He was not funny. And Tiny Tina, the girl who plays her from like Barbie and a few other movies, like I forget the actress name, but she's like forcing it in. And yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is forcing it. Everyone just doesn't feel like they want to be there. The effects are terrible. I couldn't even tell you what was happening half the time. And like Cate Blanchett, the way she's like talking about like her mother and everything throughout the movie, I'm like, Lilith is supposed to be like in her teens. It makes sense to be talking to angsty like this. You're like 60 something fucking years old, and you're acting like a fucking angsty teenage girl. It's just like, this makes no sense to me, and it's just so wow. I hated this movie. I can't fathom why they thought to do this, and I feel bad for Eli Roth because he had a vision. And
to answer your question, Stacy, who's the best in Borderlands? Nobody. Everybody's bad.
Yeah, everybody is bad.
Everybody's either asleep or annoying when it gets to Jack Black. Yeah.
You got to think too. Like so, Cate Blanchett earlier that year, was nominated for Best Actress for Tar. Jamie Lee Curtis won the Best Supporting Actress.
Again, it's that curse of like where
they always make something bad right afterwards. They always do. It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a humiliation thing. Like, if you win an Oscar, you have to be in some humiliating movie. Like, I'm almost thinking that's like a thing, like the humiliation ritual. Like, yeah, you get your Oscar, but you got to go film this real quick before you get your statue. So you got to film this piece of shit before you do that. It's really
I don't get it. I feel bad for Eli Roth because technically he's credited all over it when you watch the credits. But if you read the behind the scenes drama, he didn't even do like a goddamn thing on this movie. He wrote the script, and he directed it.
But then they brought in Tim Miller to reshoot like almost the whole movie.
Yeah, and so like 90% of it is Tim Miller, and like It's just terrible, and you can see how choppily edited and you can see all the spots where it was reshot. It's just not good at all. So
all right, well, that is Borderlands. All right, and my final one, I mean, you guys who know me, you know what the fuck I'm gonna say. Number one is not only the worst movie I've seen in a theater, maybe ever, but easily the worst movie I've seen in 10 years. It is called Not Another Church Movie. It is the absolute drizzling shits. This movie is, I could not believe it made it to a screen at my theater. This is awful. It's supposed to be
you would click on that if you saw that poster.
Yeah, I normally I wouldn't, but again, I have Regal Unlimited. I was bored that day, so I guess I just went and watched the shit. But I mean, I'm somewhat grateful because now I've seen the worst thing I've seen in 10 years, so it's gonna be really hard to top it. In the words of Brian Alvarez, Richie,
minus 5 stars.
Yeah, this would be like minus 5 out of 10, minus 10 out of 10. It is. You're already starting with a bad premise where you're trying to do like a parody of these Medea movies, which is already stupid because parodying a comedy is already a bad start. Because if you fail and you're less funny than the original thing, then you failed. There's a reason why you parody action movies, or you parody horror, you parody sci-fi. You parody these things that are played fairly straight, and then you send them up a little bit. When you're parodying comedy and you're just making worse comedy, it's like the main character is literally just dressing up and doing the Medea shtick, but doing it worse with more fart jokes. And that's not a way to do a movie. There's no plot whatsoever. The plot is vaguely something about Kevin Daniels getting like a message from God to make a religious movie, I think. But they completely forget about that plot for most of the movie, and it maybe comes back in the last 5 minutes. It is a series of non-interconnected scenes and skits and non sequiturs, and it is bizarrely edited. There is no coherence from scene to scene. It opens with Jamie Foxx playing God and just doing stand-up material for like 7 minutes in front of a really bad green screen of heaven, just like sitting at this table. You're already dating your movie because he opens up with like Will Smith slapping Chris Rock jokes, so you're immediately dating your movie. Like almost, and like he had to have been blackmailed by somebody. Like he had to owe somebody a favor for this movie. Like somebody was like, "You owe me," or "I know something that you did in your past. You got to be in my movie." Like at least for a day. Mickey Rourke's even worse because Mickey Rourke is clearly. They sat him in front of a chair, in front of a green screen in a room for an hour, and he recited lines, blatantly staring at the cue cards off screen. He says his lines as dead as you possibly could, and they had him for an hour or two, and he leaves. I don't know what to say about this thing. It's you get an hour in, they're still introducing characters that I've never seen before, and we stick with them for 15 minutes. There's like a security guard plot line where he just comes into the movie, an hour into the movie, he does some shit for 15 minutes, and then we never see him again. And I don't know what happened here. Like they filmed a bunch of stuff and then had no idea what to do with it and just hobbled it all together on an iMac. And it is, I don't know how this made it into theaters. Like, how did this make it into theaters, but we couldn't get Prey in theaters? We couldn't get fucking Hellraiser in theaters. We couldn't get like Beverly Hills Cop, Axel, whether you liked it or not. We couldn't get Beverly Hills Cop in theaters. Like, how do you?
No one will save you. That Alien movie with Caitlin Dever.
We can't get these movies that are like good or like big franchise IPs or whatever. But like this makes it. Happy Gilmore 2, yeah, which may or may not come out there. Like, how do we not that we get this? Like, how did this make it to theaters? And you look at it, I'm pretty sure it made less than $1 million, like total. You know, I mean, it was a complete utter bomb. Nobody watched it. I'm pretty sure I'm one of the few people who did. Yeah, it is easily one of the most incoherent, baffling things I've ever seen. So if you dare to ever try to watch it, I dare you to try to make it through it. Try to make it through this movie, because I wanted to walk out, and I don't walk out of movies, but man, I was close, just because I couldn't believe how bad it got. It is the worst of the worst of the worst. So yes. Not Another Church movie is my I forgot to put my thing up there, but yeah, Not Another Church.
So you're not gonna watch No Church movie too?
They're not going to be one. It's I mean, the movie didn't make any money. I'm pretty sure it made like negative money at the box office. I mean, Steven's right. Like some of like Uwe Boll's like movies have gotten like limited theatrical runs. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get where this stuff happens. But hey, I have a new standard of low, Wolfman. You know, for non-theatrical stuff, it's Thanksgiving 3. For theatrical stuff, it's not another church movie. I doubt anything will beat it this year. There's no fucking way that anything beats it this year. I don't know. I'd be surprised.
Unless we get the Kikuya tapes 2. There you go.
I'm sure you'll let us know if it pops up on Google Video on Vimeo. You'll watch it.
It'll pop up on Daily Motion in like
yes. All right. Well, let's wrap it up. We've had a lot of fun tonight, but let's wrap this thing up and let's do a quick recap before we get out of here. And I'll put the tickers up. JPO, if you would, Mr. Owens, Mr. JPO, Mr. Owens, if you would do a quick recap, sir, of your bottom 12, that would be greatly appreciated.
Let's see. For the 12 here of the year 2024, the Gukuya tapes. I got at number 12. Number 11, Death Web. Give me 1 second. I pulled away from it trying to find what the fuck Gukuya tapes was.
You gotta pull that letter.
All right, here we go, guys. Reunion comes in at my number 12. 11, Blood for Dust. 10, Tarot. 9, Afraid. 8, Sugar Warning. 7, Madame Web. 6, Strangers, Part 1. 5, Players. 4, Night Swim. 3, Half-Baked 2, Totally High. 2, Imaginary. Number 1 was The Mousetrap.
All right, Wolfman, would you run down your 12 one more time?
Yeah, number 12. I have the American Society of Magical Negroes, and then at number 11, I have Founders Day. At number 10, I have Miller's Girl. Number 9, I have Madam Web. Number 8, I have Borderlands. Number 7, I have Strangers Chapter 1. Number 6, Uglies. Number 5 is Tarot. Number 4 is The Mousetrap. Number 3 is No New Friends. Number 2 is Death Web. And number 1, the worst movie of the year, is the Kikuya.
That does not exist. That I'm still not convinced is a real movie. You didn't just have a nightmare and somehow type stuff while you were dreaming and created this movie in your head. I'm convinced because it doesn't exist. Richie, you're 12.
At number 12, Sleeping Dogs. Number 11, Maxine. Number 10, Back to Black. Number 9, Mufasa, The Lion King. Number 8, The Garfield Movie. Number 7, The Crow. Number 6, Afraid. Number 5, Madam Web. Number 4, Tarot. Number 3, Craven the Hunter. Number 2, Imaginary. And number 1, Borderlands.
All right, and wrapping up my bottom 12 of 2024, we have at number 12, Imaginary. Number 11, Tarot. Number 10 is Robert Zemeckis' Here. Number 9 is The Crow. Number 8 is the Matt Walsh documentary, Am I Racist? Number 7 is Madame Web. Number 6 is Tyler Perry's Mea Culpa. Number 5 is Uglies. Number 4 is Founders Day. Number 3, The Mousetrap. Number 2 is If. And number 1 is Not Another Church Movie. All right, so that's going to do it for tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining me. We've had a fun tearing apart these movies and discovering movies that we never even knew existed, that I'm still not convinced to actually exist because they live in the land of YouTube and Tubi, and I'm still not convinced they're real movies. They're not just things that people film in their house on their phones and somehow just get uploaded to Tubi. I don't know what the criteria is. Like, if we just film something here on the screen, could we submit it to Tubi and be like, the Movie Hero movie or something? Like, can we like, I'm pretty convinced
you probably could. You make a little bit of money off that. You know?
Yeah, we could do something. I'm pretty convinced we can make something. But JPO, we are going to wrap it up there. So what you got going on? Anything over on the Pierce Co. and whatnot, all your shenanigans, plug away.
Yeah, usual shenanigans I talk about all the time. The Pierce Co. We just started the 2025 singles tournament here, so that's going to be some fun. The next several weeks, couple months even. over at Pierce Wrestling. Just had another fun podcast drop over there talking about the Florida 100 is out. Thursday, you'll see 3 of these familiar faces talking pro wrestling every week. This week, we're ranking the top female wrestlers of the last or of a few decades here up until the 2000s. So that's gonna be a lot of fun to see what we think about that. And usual places here. Just did some multiplex and lights out and all that jazz.
All right, sounds good. Mr. Wolfman, what do you got going on? Where can we find you?
Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley, those would be at the top for me. But as far as
anyway,
and maybe when we get to the 2010s, one of the 2000s, I don't think they're wrestling yet.
2000s, no.
Yeah,
2000s was like Trish Stratus type stuff, but
yeah.
Those are that would be perfect. But you guys can find me on my YouTube channel, Mega Movies, where on tomorrow, I believe, we will be covering some more award stuff for you guys. And then Wednesday for us will be our worst of the year. And then we'll be doing our best of the year on like the 23rd or 24th, somewhere there. I'll have to see which day works for us. But somewhere around there is when we'll do our best of the year. So you guys can look out for when we'll be doing that. And, of course, a Wolfman review, my biopic is coming out. And so we'll I'll be reviewing that for you guys here soon. And much, much more. So, yeah, stay tuned for that and a bunch of other good stuff. So, and, of course, our drinking game in January is the same weekend as the Wolfman. We're doing American Werewolf in Paris. So that should be fun.
Which I've never seen, but it's available on like every streaming service. It's one of those random ones that's on like free everywhere. Vudu, Crackle, Prime, Tubi, Peacock, like 50 different streaming services. It's just out there. So, I mean, it'll be easy to find for both of us, but there you go. I've never seen it, so we'll see what happens. I think there's already a drinking game that I can just pull from. So, but Richie, anywhere we can find you, anything you got going on?
Yeah, can find me. Probably doing the honorable mentions and the best ofs at some point too. That'd be fun. Less fun than this. This is always fun.
It's always a good time.
I look forward to doing this every year. This is good fun. God bless bad movies, but also, I like them to be good as well.
Hey, I like to think you can't appreciate the great stuff if you don't also see the really bad stuff. It makes you appreciate it even makes me appreciate the kind of mediocre stuff, for what it is, the mildly entertaining stuff.
Yeah. Actually, I know, like Wheeler Movies, me over here at Chad Webb joining us next week for Mystery Man.
Mystery
So,
Man.
I haven't watched that in quite a while, so I'd be looking forward to jump back into that. And then, like Jacob mentioned, the singles tournament for and for ASAT. Looking forward to that. Totem 5 tier ranker. I'm competing lights out, CWT. All that jazz, I'm around most places. We did a huge rankum yesterday on Best 2024, so that was fun. Check that out, and
All right. And as far as the other stuff, I'll be kind of co-hosting or running here on the Movie Hero Network. As Richie said, Wheel of Movies and Lonely Marks this Thursday, so check us out there. We got a Reitman versus Coppola tournament on Friday, so that'll be Ivan and Jason Reitman's films versus the Coppola family, Francis, Sophia, and even Gia Coppola, the granddaughter who directed The Last Showgirl, the Pamela Anderson movie. She's directed some other stuff, so I threw her in there as well because I had to stretch to 64, so we threw her in there as well. But it works out. It's all the same family. As Richie kind of alluded to, our next 2 podcasts will be the next 2 Sundays in a row. So Sunday the 19th, Sunday the 26th, we'll be doing a sort of honorable mention outside the top 12. It won't so much be a countdown show per se. It'll just be more like a roughly 2 and a half hour just round table. We'll go around and everybody will get a chance to just shout out those movies that maybe deserve some love, maybe not quite in your top 12, but those ones you would really recommend and think deserve some love and you just want to talk about for a minute. So it'll be more of like a casual thing, just bring in a list of movies that you just really, really like that are just outside of there that you'd like to show some love to. And then, of course, the week after that, after our 3-part tournament of the, our ladder series-ish tournament of 2024, we'll be doing our 3-part 128 movies from those. Some of these as well, because they were, fairly big release movies. So some of these movies will be in there because they were, mainstream films. They're all going to be in there.
Even the Goodacre tapes.
No, not that one. And it's funny. Malcolm even asked me if I wanted to include Night of the Church movie, but only me and Malcolm have seen it. And I said, nah, let's scoot it out for something else. It's fine. You know what? I'm fine to drop Night of the Church movie to include Jim Henson Idea Man. It's a much better film.
Include the Kikuya tapes or Death Web. Whatever.
No, we're not including those. Sorry, we're not changing the list last minute, Wolf. Not doing that. No, but you will see a few of these in there because obviously there's some big movies in here, though. So yeah, we'll be doing that 3-part series starting the 20th. So it'll be a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then we will it all culminates into our actual top 12 roundtable discussion again with these gentlemen here plus Jordan Anderson. Oh, I was going to read off his top 12. Right off at the end of the thing. He sent it to me. You will probably disagree with a few of these, but as for his top 12, number 12, he had The Strangers Chapter 1, which we mentioned a couple times, so that's fine. Number 11, Oddity, which I disagree with. I
heard good things about that movie. Yeah,
it's a little overhyped, but I think it's still a decent horror movie.
So an interesting fact about that movie. So Jordan, Ross, and I were on vacation. And that came out around that time, and I was like, let's rent it and watch it together. Yeah. I fell asleep because I was exhausted.
He said everybody fell asleep except him.
Yeah.
All you guys did.
I was like exhausted from the convention.
It's not the kind of movie you watch late at night. It's a very slow, kind of quiet movie, but yeah, so don't do that. But I still think it's a decent movie. 10, he had Borderlands, which we mentioned here. Number 9, Imaginary, so no problems with that. Number 80, A Spaceman with the Sandman. Again, I don't understand that. I think that movie's good. Yeah, I like it. We might talk about it on the Honorable Mention show. I liked it. Number 7, he also had Maxine, so I guess, not everybody's down with the Maxine. Number 6, he had Kraven the Hunter, understandable. Number 5, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, again, understandable. I thought it was improvement, but, I get it. Number 4, Madam Web. Number 3, I still don't understand his hate for Roadhouse. I don't get it. I don't understand. We went back and forth today about texting because he has a problem with the swearing in that movie, but he likes Sonora, which has 4 times the swearing and set a record over Casino, which it broke Casino's record of F-bombs. So I don't understand that logic there. We'll talk about it. Maybe we'll bring it up in the honorable mentions. I think the movie's pretty fun for what it is. But number 2, he had Founders Day, so understandable there. And number 1, I just didn't bother to watch Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate because it's just.
I had that.
Chris Scott, dude, 5 stars though.
That's 5 out of 5 plus from Chris Scott. He loved it. It might be on his top 12 based on that. So I thought that was great. So that is his. I'll throw that out there as well. All right. So we'll reconvene again here around the Movie Hero Network. And next Sunday, the 19th, you will see these guys plus Jordan Anderson. And the Honorable Mention show will be more of a casual show. Still bring a list of stuff you want to talk about or want to mention, but it won't be so much of like a countdown of like what's your number 13, 14, nothing like that. Just bring a list of movies you want to shout out and talk about and give some love to. So, and we'll just have a really casual kind of conversation. So that's what it's going to be, and it'll be a lot of fun. So until next week, we will reconvene for Podcast League Now. So for Richie, for the Wolfman, for JPO, I am your host this evening, Austin Pez Howell, and we will see you next year for the worst of 2025.